Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. My name is Bahamut, joined by Grubby and Justing, and we are getting ready for our second best of five of the day, the fourth best of five of the entire weekend. We got WildHeart Esports going up against 30K, and I do want to say this. During the break, I did see that there was a $300 donation coming in as well, so thank you everyone who have been supporting HeroesCCL and all of these great games. We'll have to get Logan on a little bit later for all of you, get him a treat for all of you at home, because at this time what I want to talk about is Ball Street. Actually, I want to talk again about Ball Street and their amazing cclmarkets.com, because it's up to you to get the best pick for the winning team live as you're watching on cclmarkets.com. It's free. If you pick wrong, you can sell your shares and buy the other team before the match is over. CCL Markets trade from 0 to 100, with shares of the winning team valuing at 100 and shares of the losing team expiring at 0. There's tons of prizes for the season, so join and play during every HeroesCCL broadcast. Thank you again, Ball Street, for partnering up with HeroesCCL Season 4. But of course, we are getting ready for this series. Justing, as someone who played on this team, you break down the WildHeart draft or roster that we're going to be seeing for this best of 5.
Yep, we've got replacing Tremor, who replaced me, Haven, on the tank position. Ibting's playing that ranged flex, Mason Blaze the other ranged flex for the team, Weary Day playing the support, Zergling is the offlaner, and Roger is their 6th member. Haben has been looking very good lately. Him and Ibtings are the newest additions to the roster, the main roster. Ibtings, we heard quite a bit of him in comms, being quite vocal, and being a big kind of boon to the shot calling of the team. And overall, this team's just looking extremely strong right now. A dark horse in the standings. No one really expected them to do so well, but out the gates, they've been looking extremely strong.
Oh yeah, I totally just believed in WildHeart. I never doubted them. I never put them in the middle of the pack saying, oh, they need to prove themselves. I've totally believed in them since day 0 maybe. But of course, Grubby, a team that a lot of people are believing in because, well, it's a star-studded roster, 30K.
Yeah, 30K, of course, also with the unbeaten score right now. And this is the team that has got them to that point. Kind of an NA all-star roster. Caterpillar, Cure, Legacy, Liam, Madara, and B-Kid. B-Kid also kind of a veteran player, but has only been on the bench so far. Cure has made his comeback after being on break in Season 3. And has even shown both his ranged assassin skills with Hanzo and his melee assassin skills with Zeratul already. Liam is one of the best award-winning players that we've had here in CCL so far, and he's got a number of just insanely strong off lanes. All of those are so strong. This team is unbeatable, but, well, so is WildHeart, so someone's got to lose.
Yeah, I mean, they got scores of 6-1, 6-1, only dropping one map each, and they sit in the number 1 spot for now. Of course, Diamond Hands technically really in the number 1 because they played 3 games, but we are going to find out after the series where everyone sits with the standings, so let's immediately get into where we're going to head for map number 1, and hey, the familiar face of Alterac Pass. We just ended our last series on it. We're going to be starting out this series on it. 30K will be taking us there, as WildHeart has won the coin flip, opting in for first pick priority, banning out Infernal Shrines, and the Sky Temple to be banned out by 30K. So, a lot of great options still on the table for future maps in this best of 5 series. Maybe some Tomb, maybe some Garden. We have some awesome options coming at you today. But of course, while we're waiting to kick off the draft, Justin, gotta get your thoughts on maybe draft style for Alterac Pass. And I want to preface this as well. Do you think we're going to start seeing teams utilize Hammer more and more on these larger maps where rotations take longer, like last week with Unaverted on Alterac Pass?
It definitely seems that way. With how strong the Hammer has looked in both the games that we saw it, by both the players that we saw it, I'm definitely expecting that in time, as people become more comfortable on Hammer, that we'll see a lot more of it. We'll see it kind of pull a lot of priority in the draft onto either things that counter it early on, like the Chromie, or like the Stukov that Grubby has talked about. We're going to most likely see a little bit more of a focus. It might warp the whole draft a bit. It might not be something where you just ban it outright. It might be something that you see more typically as a second ban, or just picking with it in mind. It might kind of just passively change the other picks so that you're always prepared just in case a Hammer can be picked.
Well, we're into the draft, and here we go. The most anticipated matchup of the weekend, if I do say so myself. This is the match where I think even people who are predicting all over Twitter, I was actually looking through Twitter yesterday and the day before, Grubby, a lot of people predicting, 3-1, 3-0 for a lot of our series. This series, almost everyone I saw was saying that this series goes to a Game 5, and I kind of feel like we definitely will end up there.
Yeah, definitely possible. But I mean, a 3-0 either way could happen. It just depends who shows up today. Now, into a little bit more draft specifics here, as WildHeart opens up with a Brightwing pick. We have seen WildHeart be a little bit different from other teams in that they've picked up Zagara a number of times. I think that's been Zergling on Zagara. They've used her once each series that they've played so far. And they've also had Blaze be a part of their draft for more than 50% of the time. I think we've seen 6 Blaze picks in 7 games, or 5 Blaze picks in 7 games. That's a lot of Blaze. So 30K has not removed either the Zagara or the Blaze, but they must be aware at least that these are possibilities.
I like I can see the draft chat, and it's just Madara, they pick up the Chromie early, and it's just eat sand is the message that Madara sends to the enemy in the draft chat. But of course, Justing, Grubby was talking about Blaze, but let's also talk about Sylvanas too, because that's going to be picked up with WildHeart's Blaze and the Brightwing.
Yeah, Blaze and Sylvanas being picked up, both of these things could be easily first picked, so right now both teams getting exactly what they want. 30K does take the Chromie at a bit of a unexpected priority. Chromie on this map does have something kind of special with her where she can set up on one side of the wall and basically just stall out the first objective nearly indefinitely if she's in range of it. If she just stays by her fort, it's nearly impossible to get that first objective, so the Chromie priority is coming out mostly for that, I'm expecting. It also dissuades you from picking Sergeant Hammer, so if there are hammer pickers in the game, WildHeart would not be really wanting to pick it into the Chromie, whereas now 30K could take it safely if they want it. So we'll see if the hammer priority continues or if that is just a more of a team-specific thing for right now. But picking the Chromie early is good for a multitude of reasons.
Yeah, we actually am looking through the bans here, Grubby. We could see a Liam Urel, which is just such a great tool with hammer, but also just it's Liam's Urel. I actually,
You blanked out on the map for a second.
No, it's not only that, but I'm more excited about Hogger, to be honest. I really like Hogger on this map, as you were saying, but I think Hogger just in general. I like watching Hogger more than I like watching Urel, is really what I'm excited about here.
Yeah, he's a little bit more killable, and he's a lot more flashy.
Yes,
I love me some Hogger.
Exactly.
Love me some Hogger as well. We're going to have Tracer. Tracer's really good into Hogger. Can be quite good into Chromie, but Chromie is not defenseless. She's got a number of ways to make herself nearly invincible for more than 10 seconds. Hogger and Rhaegar are amazing on the map. They take the null pack camp really quickly. I'm curious to see who will be the final pick. I don't really like Zeratul here. I don't think he's good enough here, but I'm curious what it's going to be. Hanzo, I guess, would be the most obvious. So are you happy with Hanzo into Tracer?
No? Justing?
I think it's fine to be Hanzo into Tracer. You mostly outtrade it as Thrall. Okay, so that's weird. I have thought that so Cure definitely as of right now has felt like he's performing a lot better on the melees, which is something that we've noticed with the bans as well from WildHeart. They banned out the Maiev, and then they also banned out the Zeratul. Neither of those are very common bans, so this is a lot of just priority being pulled by Cure. The Thrall is sort of the only melee that makes sense in this case because you do need something that can kill tanks. You don't really want to pick something like a Malthael. I was thinking that the Hogger might be played by Cure, but if you were to do that, if you were to play Hogger in the 4-man like what we saw CPX doing, then you would still need a way to kill tanks, and I was thinking that the Chromie is going to kind of set your comp behind in that situation. So Thrall is sort of actually the only thing that you can pick that is a melee, that kills tanks, that provides CC. It also trades well into something like a Tracer because you don't want to pick another squishy range against that Tracer. You want to pick something that can kind of just stand and fight the Tracer if she tries to trade with you. So the Thrall does make a lot of sense. I'm not sure if that will be enough. I think the Thrall might still get bullied out by the Tracer with the range advantage that the Tracer has. As it stands, I think WildHeart's composition is just a little bit more well-balanced and well-rounded. I'm excited to see Mason Blaze playing the Tracer again, and I'll be interested to see whether the Thrall, well, it does make sense technically, well, it's actually good enough to hold up here into WildHeart. I'm excited for this match.
Me too as well. Justin, let's go ahead and introduce our teams here, because on the left-hand side we have WildHeart Esports, Zergling on the Blaze, Haybit on the Murd, and Mason Blaze to play the Tracer. Weary Day on that Brightwing, and IB Tings on the Sylvanas. On the right-hand side, backed by Drekthar, we've got 30k Legacy on the Rhaegar, Cattle on the Joanna, Kier on the Thrall, Hogger to be played by Liam, Mater on the Chromie, and this is a rotation into bottom lane by a few, and it's something we've seen from time to time on a lot of these maps here, Grubby. It is going to be a potential cheese of a tower, so Kier, Legacy, reading this immediately, trying to defend. There's a Stormbolt from Haben, but of course, IB Tings gets forced back as well. So now, while we have a little bit of damage onto the Fort front gate and bottom lane, I'm calling for a WildHeart win here, Grubby, but of course, gotta get your thoughts and what you think about these two drafts into Alterac Pass.
Yeah, I don't know who's gonna win this one. I'm gonna not make a prediction here. I just think it's a really cool, interesting team on both sides. We have that triple melee coming in from 30k. I hear from chat that Cure has been playing more Thrall, in fact spamming it a fair bit. I haven't seen it yet, so I find that so much fun because Cure is one of our most skilled players in CCL, guys. And to see him set his teeth into Thrall, you know, usually he's played things like Zeratul, like actually quite a bit of Zeratul. And Thrall, I see Thrall as like mechanically a little bit easier, but also usually not being strong enough to be played a whole lot at pro play because he doesn't have like the crazy mobility of a Genji or a Tracer or a Zeratul. So I love to see some of these more, well, let's say accessible characters being played by someone that is nonetheless mechanically extremely skilled and has a great mind to boot. So let's see how that plays out. For now, Hayden jumps in, cleanse, but Stormbolt on Chromie. Chromie time traps. Is that going to be the armor time trap? Oh, it's the movement speed time trap.
Speed for Madara trying to get out of there. Haben jumps in, and that'll be confirming first blood in favor for WildHeart Esports. Polymorph onto Legacy does force him back. And, wait, hold on. The fight does continue into Zergling. Here stepping in. That's a drift propulsion out by the Blaze as Haben probably has a dwarf toss, but still kind of fine here. Kind of fine. It was a little risky, but seems like the disengage does happen, and we will be having null packs pushed up through mid.
Oh, null pack pushing in through mid is nice, and it's no guarantee for victory, but that's going to be a little bit nice extra damage on the mid towers. Not all that much, actually. Cleared up quite nicely by 30k. Meanwhile, you've got Haben trying to stop someone from going top. He's going to find Legacy? No, he's not going to find Legacy.
Here in bottom lane, the towers are shut down. Weary Day just getting some of that range spit. Does have the level 4 magic spit, which synergizes very, very well into the level 7 soothing mist sort of upgrade. So excited about that, or at least that's the anticipation for this Brightwing as our first objective phase is up and available. Both teams are going to be grabbing their null packs for the mid lane. Mason Blaze backing away on this Tracer.
You see how careful Cure is being about casting a Feral Spirit? Because he really doesn't want to be missing it. He's halfway to complete the quest. It's not the hardest of quests. If you miss it once or twice, well, you're not going to have it quickly enough. And it's going to hurt your mana pool and it's going to hurt your CC abilities. With that, it's pretty obvious it's going to be Alpha Wolf at level 16. Really his job to kill heroes like Blaze and Muradin.
I'm waiting for like Haben, but he's just doing a great job of anchoring, stepping forward, kind of tanking damage, giving vision to the team, not looking to do anything. But speaking of doing something, Liam's got a massive wave in top lane. Sylvanas, IB Tings will be coming up here to try and burn down the minion wave, and that's going to be some decent damage onto the structure. First objective still up and available for either side. The reason we know this is first is, well, obviously it's very early in the game, but also the 30 seconds of channel time and the 2 jailers. The second objective will be 40 seconds of channel time, 3 jailers, and the third onward is 50 seconds of channel time and 4 jailers defending. So a little bit of tidbit around the objective phase for you as well if you are ever considering or looking when you're watching these games as to where it is in the game. But of course, level 10s are approaching. Haben gets chunked by that sand, and Kier taps well.
I like how level 10s always sets the vibe for what's about to go down as well, because it is tense. I can't help but hearing that as teams are suddenly capable of providing more kill power going into a team fight. Of course, Chromie, she's going to get that at level 8 already with potential temporal loop. But it is going to be slowing sands for Chromie.
Makes sense
Interesting.
with Bunker from Blaze, the Soothing Mist from the Brightwing. You've got Will the Forsaken later on for Sylvanas. You've also got Recall for the Tracer. So I think there's just too many tools maybe to utilize a proper temporal loop.
Yeah.
And I
sense.
I think Slowing Sands here is a great tool to use the terminology Justin uses in CCL. She's a great goalie, a gatekeeper. With that Slowing Sand, she can throw that in front of a gate, and that allows 30k to step up and siege. Either the enemy team has to step through it and fight on the far side, or defend until their gate goes down. So I think there's also some nice siege potential with this Chromie. But of course, 10s are on the horizon for both sides, as Mason Blaze puts pressure onto Liam. Ibeting's coming up here as well. A lot of damage onto Liam. Phase shift, nice kill onto Hogger. A secondary kill to the side of WildHeart Esports.
Nice little lead for WildHeart. They're gonna try to go get another one. Cure did miss his wolf once and it lost him the quest. If he dies, he also loses the quest, but he stays alive there, he's fine. It's just Murden and Blaze, and he's not about to die to those. WildHeart uses the advantage that they built up from the kill to get a tower down as well. And they're starting the channel objective. No Earthquake, we already have Slowing Sands. It's gonna be Sundering, Falling Swords, and Shockwave. That's nice engage tools.
Delay out from Blaze as there's a cleanse coming out from Rhaegar. He does have that purification at level 7, but of course a shockwave from Liam will set stuff up, a sundering from the Thrall to follow up. It feels like Mason, Blaze, and crew are really not falling too low here, and that is going to be Vandar Stormpike summoning the Alliance Cavalry into top, mid, and bottom for the side of WildHeart. Do you want to jump into some WildHeart comms here, hear how they're going to push in with this?
Let's go.
Into WildHeart we go.
Mid can be pushed later.
Don't see any of them though.
Yeah, they're all missing off map. Be careful about pick
I
right
think
here.
Chromie is probably
spells,
matching. Okay, it's Hogger up here so far. I don't see any more though.
Just brawl bottom. Johanna bot.
Okay, there's 3.
Yep. We're fine. Be the changer.
We're fine. Yeah, you push me.
I'm gonna stun him next time he walks up.
Sure. Kind of want to keep him here. Okay, I leave you guys. I leave you here. I go mid.
Boss
We're
leaving.
getting
Boss
bot.
leaving.
Careful mid. They're all going mid. They're giving bottom. They might collapse
Yeah.
mid.
Be the throw.
Yeah, he should have Sunder soon.
Yeah,
I'm shooting for it. I want to shoot.
Careful. They're all here.
Getting,
There's a Hogger.
Can I have Hogger in the rotation? Okay, I'm pushing for top again.
Okay. You can just trade it if you want.
I'm gonna grab another wave bot.
Can push
They
on
might
a
look
bit.
at you. Careful.
Toss coming out though.
Throw Papa.
Doesn't have blast. I'm not
They're all
sure.
Papa. They're all Papa.
I have MC. Oh, there's a
Can we
trap
Papa?
here.
Mason, go down.
I'm chasing.
Yeah.
Camp's coming
Okay,
up.
can I
Can we
do
sprint camp? Yeah, I come with you.
We do camp and then
Just
boss.
have to be careful
Can I
for
do
them
really
and
bad?
sneaking boss. The
Uh,
boss
Haven.
isn't that good though.
Haven, will you do boss?
Well, he's putting a trap on it. They could go bottom.
They could
boss.
be on bottom boss instantly. It's possible.
Yeah, we'll go down now.
Let's just start this then. Let's just trade.
Sure.
Okay.
By the time we get there,
I'll Sam's point.
They could be there as well.
Oh, here,
Brightwing's
here.
picking.
It's
We
only
don't know.
Brightwing
It's just
so far.
Brightwing, Yeah.
Could be
can
more.
get
I'm
ready
doing
to
the
leave.
camp still.
Yeah, that's fine. I think they're on bottom. Like here's
Probably. Oh, unless maybe not.
No,
I
maybe
can
we can
sunder
run
them
out
off
time.
point.
Here.
I think they're just greeting
I'm
as
not
well.
gonna be there. I'm gonna be
pretty
doing
sure.
this.
They probably just did both.
And jumping out of both teams' comms, I thought it'd be nice to kind of hear how the members of 30k were kind of rallying back after that objective phase push, and we just are going to be hearing a little bit of communication from both teams. Good stuff overall, Grubby. Great pressure from the side of WildHeart to kick things off.
Yeah, I love that WildHeart was constantly hypothesizing where 30k is. We get to see that in real time, and they were pretty much correct with what could be possible, while it was also an overabundance of caution in that they were never caught off guard by any of the potential rotations by 30k. Cool to see the boss play too from both sides. As 30k, remember Cure saying, I think they're just greeting. What does he mean in that context? Well, he meant that once they saw the Sapper camp being taken, the Nullpack camp, that could mean boss was being taken. Well, hold the thought. Falling Sword engage here on Shockwave. 90 HP Blaze, he actually ends up going down. That was the longest range staggering blow I've ever seen.
Max
he takes down
range.
Blaze.
Nice.
Is it just going to be the one kill here from 30k? And it looks like that's going to be it for now. But just to finish up there,
Please.
when Cure said it was going to be like, it could be agreed, what he meant is they saw the Nullpack camp being taken, which could be a sign that WildHeart was not taking boss. After all, not using everyone that's invisible on the minimap to take the boss could be greedy, risky. What if you get invaded? Do you really dare to split someone off to take the null pack at the same time? But then again, that's exactly what 30k was doing, and this is the greedy play. The safe play would be to send everyone to the boss, but then you're not getting as many simultaneous threats. So very good heads-up analysis by both teams, and they did indeed do the perfect trade there. Speaking of a perfect trade, the map is almost looking in equilibrium, as both have their mid fort, and there's a top versus a bottom fort. Very even game between the two so far.
As Heroes the Storm maps, if I'm not mistaken, are asymmetrical in that sense, where they just be like mirrored over themselves. It's the same it's the same case right here. If you're just mirrored it over, it's kind of same thing, where it's mids up for both sides, top up for the side of 30k, and the members of WildHeart will have their bottom lane fort. But right now, Brightwing will push up things in bottom a little bit. We do have the Tracer grabbing some soak in top. 16s are on the horizon, a little bit faster for WildHeart with that extra kill, as well as just, I think, the priority into the offlane soaking. So I wonder, is that going to be the green light from WildHeart? Because Hogger's going to show him bottom. Thrall's missing. Cure does have Sunder, but I don't know if it's going to work out. That's going to be a phase shift coming out from Weary Day, which is going to be interrupted immediately, and there is going to be a little bit of a pause. I did see that one of the players did DC, so we're going to get that player back in. It seems like the game actually just froze for the player, so we'll figure all that out in the background. But, of course, until we get back into the day, or back into the game, I want to get your thoughts here, Grubby, on maybe what could potentially happen with 16s for a third and a quarter, however you want to split the difference on that 16 to 15 leveling.
Well, the talents that they have is extra spell armor and shield for Blaze, a larger range on the Dwarf Task by Muradin. We have a bigger radius of melee by Tracer, able to hit everyone with it. Brightwing now has a phase out that he just used to try and stay alive against Thrall. And then there's Will of the Forsaken on Sylvana. So a lot of extra mobility and protection coming in, and a bit of extra damage. So it's mostly protection. It's going to make it harder for 30k to get kills. We can see right now there's 3 members of the blue team of WildHeart going to the top right objective already. And it was actually Liam Hager that disconnected for a bit, which is interesting because Cure came in as a wingman bot. Right. You saw at the end there, right? That Sundering Wolf. That was actually 5 out of 6 on this Wolf stack quest. Nearly killed Brightwing, but Liam was unable to follow up, even though he has Hawk Wild and Shockwave available, because his game actually froze for a bit. So this could have been a Brightwing kill, a very inspirational Brightwing kill. Now I think she's going to get away because the minion wave is encroaching. We need a couple of more minutes as we try to get that under control, as we'll just talk your ears off for a bit until we continue again. And like you said, it's just few seconds of level 16 advantage, Bahamut.
So it's I'm looking at this moment in the bottom lane as it's like this freeze frame moment, and I'm like, will Weary Day be able to get out of this engagement? It's like the ending of a JoJo episode. It's like to be continued. But what I'm looking at right now also is I'm curious, and I wonder if I can actually check this in the pause. It doesn't show me the radius on it, but I'm curious if Brightwing can blink heal to the minion wave that's right at the gate. It's like a third of a wave, like a third of the lane to go, so I don't know the blink heal range off the top of my head, so it's just like, I'm like sitting here, I'm like, and there's like 2 ticks of a bar for Brightwing. She has got barely any HP right now, and I'm just like sitting here, I'm like, will Weary Day be able to get away is kind of the big thing that we're going to answer when we come back from this pause. But yes, as Grubby had mentioned, one of the players did have a DC, so we're going to get them back in here in just a few seconds. Seems
I can say that probably Brightwing will get away. She currently has 500, maybe 610 life, and Thrall is auto-attacking for 312. She's going to get probably a healing pulse soon, as it's nearly full, so he would need 3 auto-attacks to kill her, rather than the 2, which is where her health pool is right now. And 3 auto-attacks takes Thrall too long. He has an attack speed of, let's see. Oh, well, there we go. And he blinks away. Survived with 250 health.
The phase out worked out, the blink heal worked out in the end, and we're back into the game. Thank you everyone for being patient with us as the phase shift onto IB Things Will Connect. Now, this is the thing that also Grubby was mentioning a little bit as well. There were a couple members of WildHeart floating around the top portion of the objective, and that will be a mind control on Dakir, who does back away. He is going to be unstoppable from Cattle's Falling Sword as Liam comes in to the backline with a shockwave, connecting onto a couple coming out of the bunker. Cattle looking a little low, but so is Zergling, who decides to go back in. A lot of poke damage from Cure and friends as Zergling drops to around 800 HP, gets a little heal from the Oil Slick Flame, 18 seconds of channel time to go, and I think with 40 seconds of channel still to go, and Weary Day delaying, actually didn't get the delay out right there, I think this is great, because WildHeart can tap wells and they can re-engage onto this fight. I think WildHeart's in a comfortable spot right here, and they can retake this fight, maybe even kill Cattle.
They managed to pop his iron skin, that's nice. Meanwhile, Thrall Cure gets back his Sundering. He also completed his Wolf quest, and Madara just went from 21 Sand Blast stacks to 36, as we're going to have another pause. Game freeze again for a member of 30k, so apologies for the inconvenience, but hard to control. We have another disconnect for a player here.
Luckily, Hogger's hog wilding, so it's not like he's in a bad spot. It's not like he DC'd in a bush and he could start seeing WildHeart slowly advancing towards the bush or something like that. So at least he's in a safe spot. It's not that big of a deal. We will find out what's going to happen with this in just a second. They're just trying to fix it. The players are communicating that they're doing their best to get this going again, because of course one of the things to consider, and we talked about it earlier, is momentum. Like we use this word a lot, and when you pause a game like this consistently, it really does kind of throw off the enemy or whoever's built said momentum. It's like, you're firing all cylinders, your communication, and you're like, okay, we're going to do this, and then that rhythm is built. And when you constantly do these pauses, it can affect that. But I know this isn't malicious. It's just one of those things that I feel like some of the players, they want to get back into the game. They don't want to do this pause because they want to continue applying as much as they can with what they built up. But I feel like, Grubby, we already have a ready from the team that did have the DC, so I think we're about to get back into Alterac Pass map number 1.
Yeah, let's see. It looks like they're actually going to try... They wanted to try and reboot the PC, but they're saying it would take too long, so they're just going to try again now, because they would have to restart without him if he doesn't make it back on time. Maybe we're about to continue soon, but you mentioned that momentum, and it's true. Well, might not be much more time to blab, because I think we're about to go. Okay, there we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's get back into the game.
We have Haben doing, great mind control Cure. Falling sword from Cattle, everything to just try and save the moment here, as a double kill will come out from the side of 30k. Zergling on an island all on his own, no bunker available for 6 seconds, and Zergling will go down. A triple kill to the side of 30k, who will be able to go and grab objective. I don't think 30k will be interrupted in the sense of this should be the cavalry coming out from the side of Drekthar in the red.
Yeah, oh my god, like, what a big advantage for 30k coming out of that pause.
Yeah.
They tried to make a play for Thrall Cure as they went for a mind control on him. But even though he didn't use Spirit Shield yet, that gives him 50% spell armor, he used that later, actually, after he already confirmed survived. He didn't seem to take any relevant damage at all. And meanwhile, Blaze fell, Tracer fell, Murding got incinerated and just obliterated by the full Thrall build coming online now, with percentage damage not just once, but twice. Both Rolling Thunder as well as Alpha Wolf are doing percentage damage. 6% on the first hit, and then 3%, 3%, 3%, 3%, up to 3 to 4, 5 times. That's a lot of percent damage. Thrall will incinerate tanks now. He's also got that ancestral healing, so he can pretty much just do half a tank's damage in very, very short order. That's why Thrall is valuable, and it's cool to see that coming out here. He's the second highest damage on the side of 30k right now, with 31k hero damage, which is 50% more than any member on WildHeart right now.
Whoa, Mason Blaze having to recall right there, but right into the same spot. That's a mind control coming out of the Cure. He doesn't really care. I mean, you were mentioning percent-based damage. That Ancestral Wrath at level 7 is also 15% of the current target's HP, so it's so much damage from Thrall, and I maybe shouldn't have doubted the members of 30k, as they're going to look for a mid lane keep here. That is going to be the Cavalry. I believe this is the first Cavalry of the game, if I'm not mistaken either, as it's finding a obscene amount of value here. Mid lane keep goes down, bottom lane fort should fall, top lane keep's going to be below 50%. WildHeart went from a solid looking like control on Alterac Pass to a just spiral out of control. They have swerved off the road and they are down the cliff.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy. And now with level 20 being near, 30k is setting up for an immediate boss play. And what's interesting, depending on how many members WildHeart shows bot, and they actually show 3, that's going to lend confidence to 30k. They now guarantee know that they can take the top boss. This is accepted by WildHeart. This is no oversight. This is WildHeart saying, yeah, we know we're going to trade boss. And they're hoping to maybe get bottom keep. They know they're going to lose top keep.
So I wonder... So Muradin showed in the minion wave rotating into this boss, and I don't think it's quick enough to rotate from top to bottom. It's such a tall map, and it's such a tall order to make. So I think what 30k is doing is the absolute best call. Push up the wave, guarantee a second keep, find a good fight, and end the game. Because I feel like that is the couple steps for victory for 30k, and it's not many steps really. I mean, it's finding a good fight while you've had a lot of really good late game fights with this Thrall, with everyone. And it's also 20 talent to your advantage. It might not even be look for a fight. It might be go and press core.
Yeah, it looks like it. Core only has 20 armor. There's the Sundering. There's the Falling Sword coming in with the Heaven's Fury. Muradin takes so much damage. Muradin is supposed to be survivable, but he gets absolutely blown up here. Zerkling trying to run away post bunker. The boss is taking down the core. The core is down to 10,000 health. What a long range shot there on Blaze.
30k takes map number 1 against WildHeart Esports. GG, well played. Fantastic map number 1. I am a, the pauses are a little annoying or whatever, but like I seriously, I love the back and forth we got. It was really weird though. We come back from that second pause and it's like 30k just hit like a light switch. Like 30k, they had some cool moments at the start, some wishy-washiest moments as well, and WildHeart was kind of dominating, but all of a sudden we come back from that pause and it's a whole new 30k. The bright lights are on, and Justin, can you break down? Maybe was it the unpause? Was it a talent tier moment? Was it just one good fight that turned everything 30k?
I mean, the one moment was definitely that where they had a bit of a 3-2-3 moment on the objective, where it felt like WildHeart was kind of coming out ahead there when they got the first part of the objective, came back, and then when they kind of re-engage after we come out of the pause, they do get the 3-for-0, just almost team wipe, which leads to the objective. That was definitely the moment where things fell apart for WildHeart and 30k started pulling ahead, but that's also when they're around level 16s, which is really important for their comp. They need to be able to kill the front line with the Blaze and the Muradin. And once Cure is able to get that percent damage with his Wolf at level 16, that's a huge deal for him. That's kind of the main purpose of picking the Thrall. Also, the way that the Cure's Thrall with the Root and the Sunder combos with the Hogger seems extremely strong. Hogger, I was talking about in the draft that CPX played it as a melee flex. I think that might be Hogger's best place. If we're not going to see him prioritized as an offlane, I think it's wrong to not prioritize him as a flex, because I think Hogger is probably top 3 strongest heroes in the entire game. I don't think that maybe if he's not working as well as the offlane, it felt really strong in this composition with lots of melees. The layering of CC between the Thrall Sunder, the Root, that you have Johanna CC coming out as well. It was just too much CC and damage to deal with for anyone to really step up post level 16, and we really saw it come into play on that objective fight. And then as soon as they looked to push through mid, Mason Blaze getting caught on the Tracer there, getting just completely deleted, recalling and having nowhere to go. That was all thanks to Cure with a nice root into the Madara follow-up. Madara was kind of initially, before Madara was really like known in the scene at all, he was kind of just known as being a Chromie one-trick. We saw why this game. He's very good at Chromie still. He's obviously expanded his hero pool, but he was known for his Chromie back before he was really known at all. That was what he was known for. So it's cool to see him playing that. And Cure, now that he has this hero in Thrall, it definitely opens up the draft quite a bit, because Thrall is unique in a sense that he provides CC and he provides engage, which are the things that Cure has been doing quite well with, even when he's on ranged. When we saw him on things like Hanzo with the Dragon's Arrow, that was good for him because he can kind of set the pace of the engage. When we saw him playing Varian last season for a little bit, it was good because he can engage. With the mind controls, it's good. So him having Sunder, one of the best engages in the entire game, really nice to see. And it also is one of the only melees that kills tanks. So I like seeing him pick up this Thrall, and it definitely kind of expands their draft options for 30k. And if Cure's drafting, it's nice to see him kind of making that innovation and kind of making that be a priority for drafting against them is going to become extremely difficult, because typically if you have to put him on a ranged, that means that he can kill tanks, but if you take all the melees away, that would normally mean that like tanks are going to be really tanky, like the Murda and Blaze, but he picks up the Thrall, and that kind of changes things because he kills tanks, even though he's not a ranged. So it's sort of a weird dynamic there. It felt like WildHeart was just a little bit too squishy into the combo-based execution of 30k, and the macro at the end was perfect. I saw a bit of hesitation after taking the boss. Very glad to see them just push top, because a full HP boss with 2 keeps down should absolutely be game there no matter what. Glad to see 30k take full advantage and end the game there clean.
It is a really, really strong, clean first map, number 1, from the side of 30k. I definitely like what they've done so far. And with Cure expanding his melee assassin role, I really, really can't wait for the weekend when we do get his Murky play. It's going to be really exciting to see that because it's just so synergistic. I mean, it plays exactly like the Thrall. So, I mean, realistically, like, memes aside, like, Cure really showcased that Thrall extremely well. Moderus Chromie was just so on point with the snipes. Legacy, as always, is just a great healer. Cattle's tanking is on point. And of course, Liam, well, did Liam things. For anyone wondering, we are going to have a little bit of a delay getting into this game. We are going to have one player restart their PC and router because they were having a couple DC issues. So we're hoping that that can resolve the issue. So it is going to take us an extra minute or two to get into the next map. But of course, we can at least talk about where we're going to for the next map while we do wait for the player to join lobby. And let's go ahead and see where we're going off to. It is going to be 30k choosing to take us to Battlefield of Eternity as the members of WildHeart have opted in for first pick priority. Grubby, little stat here for you if you're wondering, because I do want to poke your brain. We have no data on WildHeart on Battlefield, and we have no data on 30k on Battlefield. As someone who's, you know, played a lot of competitive stuff, when you're going up against a team, you don't have any data on them. What's your intuition? Like, how would you kind of draft for WildHeart here as 30k did take that map number 1? I want to kind of pick your brain a little bit.
You very loosely cross-reference your enemy team's picks on other maps that are comparable in drafting strategy to this map.
Okay.
If there are almost no maps that are comparable in drafting strategy, just because the map is so unique, which this map is, single target PvE damage is very important here, then you simply just play off of general known meta understanding of how this map is played. And more than that, you're playing off of your own strengths.
Okay.
While keeping in mind any special picks that your opponent is generally known for. So if you were going up against Oxygen and Nick, then you would think like, oh yeah, you know, he's Sergeant Hammer, right? Like he's known for his Sergeant Hammer, he's known for his maybe Kerrigan. Are those good on this map? We don't think so. Then you let them have it, you know? Right. And then if you learn that after all Hammer is good here as well, which Justin probably believes, you've been very confident about Hammer's upwards momentum, then you add that to your repertoire for next time. I think you just play off of what you like to play here, play off of your own strengths, a little bit less into countering your opponent in advance with extensive studies. Having said that, I'm curious to see, this is our second Battlefield of Eternity this season.
Yes.
Yesterday we saw Simplicity play here for the first time, and they went with the Storm League-esque Li Ming with Seeker style, where you can have a lot of damage on a single target on the Immortal from very far away. But more than just racing power, which is how most Storm Leaguers draft, and admittedly so do I since I'm a Storm Leaguer, more than that, you need control. You need tanks and healers and even DPS that have good lockdown and movement manipulation, as this is a 360 fight map. People come from many different directions. There's many bushes, there's many object blockers, doodads. There's limited vision at times, which can make Lunara a little better. And you can synergize at the defense with the boss stance. If you can push people in with Alarak or Garrus, that can be very strong as well.
Well, what I'm hearing from all of this, Grubby, and sorry if I'm
Cho'Gall, I know what you're hearing. You're here, Cho'Gall.
No! How dare you? I was going to talk about Artanis because he has movement manipulation, he's got blinds, he's got great damage on the Immortal with amateur opponent, he's got wave clear. I'm just saying, let the people have Artanis. As we are waiting for one player to get into lobby, I actually do want to hit on one quick thing. Our prize pool, we're at $7,390 and 1 singular cent. If someone could get rid of that cent, it'd be much appreciated. But if you'd like to actually get rid of that 1 penny, you can donate 99 pennies or 99p, I guess, if you're in UK, but then there's the math all changes. Anyways, get rid of the change, but if you do want to donate towards the prize pool, you can use exclamation point prize pool in chat while we're waiting for this player. Now, Grubby, I don't want to put you on the spot too much here. Do you feel like it's possible while we're waiting for this player to get into the lobby? Do you think we could potentially get a treat for Logan in this time? Is that a doable thing? I don't know how readily you are available for this. I'm kind of throwing you. Okay, well, it looks like Grubby's ready to go. I did promise that if we hit 7K today, we would get Logan on stream, as we have Logan on stream. Oh my god, he's such a precious little boy. And we did say at 8K. We will try and get Logan to high-five Springy as, is Logan going to perform tricks? Okay, he's going to be getting just some decent treats for us. Okay, I thought he was going to have to do the thing where he has to hold it on his nose and then, like, wait and then chomp it. But either way, thank you, everyone at home, for donating towards this prize pool. If you want to bring more furry friends onto the stream, like Springy, Logan, or Bandit, we're going to be using that prize pool to incentivize all of you. So if we can hit 8K today, we will do more fun little tricks with our animals. But thank you, as always, for everyone supporting HeroesCCL. Thanks for pushing that prize pool. And thank you, of course, to Grubby for bringing Logan on stream. That adorable little puppy. Didn't Logan just, like, level up, Grubby? I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know if he has his headphones on or not.
I'm back.
Did Logan just level up? Did he have his birthday, or is that soon?
No, that's soon. Independence Day.
That's okay, yeah, because I was like, I think it's July or something, because Bandit's birthday is actually next Saturday. We're gonna do a painting stream, and then we're gonna go to the beach all day. So Bandit's gonna be 8 years old.
Sounds fun. You know what my dream is for one of my dog birthdays?
Yep, tell me everything.
Like a big golden retriever swimming pool party. Like,
I've seen like videos of that where there's like 10 dogs and they're all just going nuts at a pool. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope to do that one day. Bucket list.
Well, maybe we can get that organized one day for you. I don't know how, but maybe one day we can help you get that organized. As we mentioned, we are waiting for one player to restart everything to get them back into the game, so they have a nice, smooth gameplay as well as internet connectivity. So, with all of that aside, thank you again, everyone in chat for donating towards the prize pool and pushing it further and further. Thank you, of course, Grubby, for bringing Logan on stream. But let's kind of reel things back in and start talking a little bit more about Battlefield of Eternity. I was memeing about, let the people have Artanis, etc. But Justin, is there any sort of like undervalued pick we don't see too often on Battlefield that maybe we could talk about, like Raynor? In the past, I feel like Raynor was such a priority, and then he just kind of disappeared in the realm that is Hanzo, Li Ming, Greymane, Vala.
I mean, Artanis actually is pretty good on this map for a number of reasons. Not only just the solo burn, but also the ultimate that kind of stops the enemies from burning with the blinds is quite strong if used properly. The main thing with Battlefield of Eternity, though, I think it's less about individual picks being strong and more about kind of just a general playstyle, about whether you want to go into it playing to play to poke, or go into it playing to have kind of a hard engage style where you have to fight past the enemy immortal. There's a lot of very different playstyles on this map, whereas most maps, like Infernal Shrines, for example, you typically are just having 2 5v5 teamfight type compositions. There isn't usually that much of a distinguishing factor between like the type of draft that you have. Whereas on BoE, it's typically very obvious whether you're playing to poke the objective, whether you're playing to just all in and fight past the objective. There's a lot of different sort of just general strategies for the map that you can play. So it's got a lot of diverse play styles. I'm a big fan of BoE. Also, the map doesn't go very late typically if you snowball properly, so you can't really rely on any late game scaling to carry you into the late game. You have to kind of keep it, you have to have a comp that can fight from level 1, basically.
Well, right now, we're going to be taking a short little break to try and assist this player to get back into the game a little bit faster. So we are going to be back in just a couple minutes. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be getting into map number 2 of WildHeart Esports versus 30K in just a few seconds. Thanks for being so patient with us. Don't go anywhere. This is HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. My name is Bahamut, joined by Grubby and Justin, and we got our player back into the lobby, so we are going to get into Battlefield in just a second here. So while we are waiting for the load up, Grubby, how's your Stormly going on Warhead Junction?
I'm glad you should ask. Yeah, I mean, it's been like 25% win rate or so on both of my accounts.
Oh no.
Not ideal, but I think maybe I have found a solution. I mean, I've tried everything. At first I thought this is a split push map. So just go Zigara and Azmodan and run it down. That doesn't work because the teleporter just shrinks the mental map.
Yep.
And I thought, okay, I'll just play healer because my decision making is terrible here. That didn't work either. And I thought, okay, any solo laner to take the sapper camp all the time, the Hellbats, that didn't work either. Finally, the one that's been working out the best for me recently is ETC. I'm the tank, but I took Justin's advice from the CCL, from our analysis sessions here live on stream, where he said stage dive is the pick these days. So I thought, hey, what the hey, let's try out what Justin analyzed and suggested. I'll try ETC. I'll go with the stage dive, the echo paddle. That's kind of been working. You're the tank, but you can also do a bit of split pushing and much safer than most other picks.
I'm surprised that that's what she said, because when you brought that up, when you started saying like, oh, what's the solution, I was gonna be like, oh, ETC with stage dive, obviously that's the
You thought
solution.
so?
And you just said it before. I'm dead serious. That's what I do too. When I'm something like, I don't know, something like 8-1 or something like that with ETC on that map. I just only pick it on that map pretty much.
Yeah.
And I go stage dive.
I'm gonna do the same.
Yeah, if you want to increase your win rate on Warhead, you just keep typing in the chat just to like push top, just to be top, just do boss and sit top. All the other lanes don't matter on that map. It's probably part of the reason why it's not in the competitive pool here, because if you remind your team that only top lane matters and you pick ETC with stage dive, that's what I've been doing as well. So
should you be top then, or are you the one that's gonna be mid and bot?
It kind of depends, I guess. If you have stage dive, you can be somewhere else, but normally no matter what, as long as you have an option to be top, either starting the fight or jump in there. But yeah, that's weird that you mentioned that.
Well, Warhead Junction. All right, so everyone go play Stage Dive ETC and Warhead Junction. I found that like Muradin's been pretty solid for playing Warhead Junction, with just poke from Stormbolt, Dwarf Launch later on, cooldown reductions and all that, Bronzebeard Rage for team fighting. So that's been a little bit of my success, but I feel like Muradin's just in such a good spot. It's not like pick him and win, but you definitely
In the meantime, draft is developing.
Let's talk about
finally.
Battlefield. I don't want to talk about Battlefield. Let's continue talking about our Storm League. No one's here to listen.
I want to talk about Glass Cannon. Li Ming was picked.
Okay, let's talk about Glass Cannon Li Ming, please.
Yeah, I want. So apparently, Li Ming's still very high priority on Battlefield. She's been top 2 pick both of the times that we've seen BOE so far. At first, it was Simplicity. Now it's going to be 30k that picks it. In Cure's hands, probably. I mean, they can still do a role swap. That's the way this works. But it's going to be Li Ming. Is it going to be Calamity? Is it going to be Seeker at level 7? I'll be curious to see. But it's a very tanky team on the other side. Li Ming today, we saw it once from Granite Gaming. Did not get the victory.
No.
It can be tough against a very tanky team. Let's see how it goes.
So we are going to be seeing 2 more picks, and of course want to get Justin's thoughts here, as it will be that Dahaka and Tychus. Ooh, Dahaka on Battlefield. Good flank potential, but yeah, I'm sure Justin,
It's strange. It's very strange, especially considering how strong Hogger is with the objective on the map, being able to knock people into the stun orbs and just have a lot of angles to bounce around in when you're defending the objective. That is weird, but I think the main thing that this allows them to do is this allows them to play with a 4-1 split and allow the Li Ming to poke, while the Dahaka can either safely soak a side lane, or they can play and just have Dahaka be the one person damaging the Immortal, which isn't going to do a ton on its own, but it does very slowly whittle it down, and it allows you to be always in a position to 5v5 if you need to. We do see the double range picked up by WildHeart with the last 2 picks. I think that's something that we're going to see mostly being standard going forward for WildHeart. That seems to be something that, as long as the meta is double ranged, I feel that Mason Blaze and Ivy Tings are just the best duo of ranged. I think of all the teams, they feel the strongest together as just a duo of ranged heroes. But that being said, it doesn't feel like they have maybe the flexibility that some of these other teams have, where you have 30k here with Cure, who doesn't have to play ranged. It would almost prefer to play melees. It's kind of an interesting dynamic there. And WildHeart's comp, Diablo on this map is kind of a double-edged sword, because later in the game it's quite strong when you have a lot of walls to push people into, and you have the ability to respawn if you do go down and be able to continue fighting during the same objective phase, because it takes so long. But in the early game, which is something I touched on, is Battlefield doesn't typically go super late. The early game is important, more important than on most maps here, and Diablo's early game is quite weak. You don't have any souls early on, you're quite squishy. If you ever go in, you pretty much can only E and then Q. If you're fighting in the lane, there's nowhere to push people into, and he's going up against Stukov, which is going to get the Super Strain at level 16, which is a notorious Diablo counter with all of the ways that he procs it, especially at 16 if you take the reset on your flip. So it's going to be a bit of a uphill battle for WildHeart. Once they're level 10s, I think that they're going to be able to be quite a bit stronger in the fights if they don't get deleted. A lot is going to come down to Weary Day with the cleanses to stop any one-shots coming out from the side of 30k. But the early game should be mostly in 30k's favor. Level 10 is when I'm expecting WildHeart to be able to start playing a little bit more aggressively with their Diablo. And if they're able to do some cool some cool macro tricks to stay even or be ahead into level 10, then WildHeart should absolutely take it. If not, 30k is looking quite strong.
Well, thank you, Justin, as always, for the analysis. On the left-hand side, we got WildHeart. On the right, it's going to be 30k. Grubby, I'm gonna hold off on your thoughts here for a second, because you know what I'd like to do? I'd like us to jump into some 30k comms. Let's see how they're going to get along in the start of this game.
Yep, let's do it.
It is
Spell Shield Diablo.
Could be 4 bottom, even 5 if they're.
Yeah. We'll chill until we see him. Carrot top is. I mean, they could be 5 top.
Yeah, true.
He's gonna start queuing this wall.
Blaze has CDI.
I'm not gonna walk up. We should just wait.
Haven't seen anything yet. Okay. Good call.
He stomped.
I might get a drag on him.
If you do, you might die.
Yeah, it's insane.
I got his jump maybe.
Upwards, just
Yeah.
He might die. Oh,
Good
I
damage, good
thought I got it actually.
Wisp sees me, by the way.
They have 3 bottom, or 2 bottom. Don't see Diablo.
Okay. I don't want to step too far in
Probably
case.
in here.
Diablo bot. Diablo bot.
Okay, nice.
He get
I've
those
got trade
gloves.
again.
Yeah.
Nice.
I can't get that. Careful.
So we're 3v3, 2v2. I
I'm
think this is
just
fine.
chunking him. I'm gonna
Okay.
I
die.
have to reset.
Don't have a heal.
Fine, I think.
Here. Not gonna reach.
Oh wow, this guy's crazy.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, it's kind of hard for us to get anything down here.
They're getting a decent amount of value top.
Okay, maybe someone.
And leaving those 30k comms, we got to hear a little bit of the initiation. Almost a kill into top lane onto Zergling. I like how they were going for that, Grubby, but of course, gotta get your thoughts as well, maybe even on the comms or what you think of the drafts.
Yeah, I think what's really cool that you also heard Liam saying that they're getting decent value even before anything had been done yet. Just because his life was damaged, he knew how to port, and he knew that it would lead to the inevitable tower death. So really good communication. Oh, big engage there on Madara. He run and guns away, but goes back in for a cheeky overkill. It is still the camp that goes towards WildHeart. So WildHeart coming in pretty hot here with a couple of tower damage there, and now with what are they called? The Impalers.
Yes.
The Khazra Impalers.
The Impalers from Diablo 3, I'm assuming. As most of that,
So, yeah.
I think it was this map was modeled off of a lot of that. As really good start for 30k. I do like how they're communicating, but also WildHeart getting a lot of great siege in the top lane right now. Liam looking for a drag, misses it onto Mason Blaze, and I didn't say this, but I will say I am looking at a WildHeart win for this one. I think they can equalize in the score. The Dahaka is interesting because Justin pointed out something very, very interesting. You know, Hogger, he's great on the objective phase. He can use Staggering Blow to knock enemies into the stun. But also, the Haka can utilize Drag Tongue and just hold someone in place for those stuns as well. So I think there's some sort of tech here that Liam is going to be showcasing that I don't think a lot of people see very often for Battlefield with a Dahaka. So I'm excited to see what he can do. But Lunara Greymane with the Diablo Blaze, I feel like they can find these kills, and maybe I'm completely incorrect because First Blood goes over the side of 30k with a fantastic setup from Cure, Madara, Legacy, and Liam.
Yeah, that was a really good drag tongue. The time between him hitting the drag tongue and showing in lane was less than half a second. I thought he was going to play it differently and kind of hold it, but it was really fast. It was short range, so there's less of a travel projectile of the tongue. It's just a really good solid kill. The usual body blocking to prevent jet propulsion from getting away. That is a First Blood favor of 30k. Now, they are also winning the race 50%, which means WildHeart is incentivized to provide an aggressive defense. It is not easy to defend here. Now you also see why Li Ming is quite good here. Getting that final 50% reach. It's just 7,000 health. He does a missile and an orb. Some of it gets blocked, but 200 damage still reaches, and he will continue to shoot going forward.
Liam comes in with a brush dog jumping into this engagement. That is going to be the spin from Alarian to force back 30k, but Greymane's racing on the left-hand side. 30k knows this because, well, I mean, it was 4 members advancing on the right, and there was still damage on the Immortal with Greymane missing. It kind of just makes sense. Anubrak burrow charging into the bush just to see if he could catch someone. Diablo might get scouted out by that lone beetle on the top left of our screen, but here comes Big Bad Belith in the bottom lane. He's dealing 522 standard damage, 1,044 into these structures. is what does 30K gain from this? They've got 7s for the slight time being, maybe the next 10 to 20 seconds, not even.
They're pushing with that small little talent lead. No Seeker coming in from Curie's got Calamity. Trying to use Calamity into Blaze, and Diablo feels risky. But he may be able to win duels against ranged assassins. And, as always, when Li Ming can get the final hit, the final kill with Seeker, you get to blink out so long as you have the mechanical accuracy to press blink once. Everyone knows what it's like to try and spam an ability to make sure it goes off. But with Li Ming, you want to just press it once, get the kill and teleport out. Sometimes that's the right play, but you know, most Li Mings overshoot. Legacy, he was completely caught out by that attack there, and he was unable to get away. He ended up dying there on point. This is an aggressive conquest by WildHeart. They get the objective, well, they get the camp, get the kill on Stukov, nearly Madara as well. So much fake damage coming in from Ivy Things that it's not really fake anymore.
Oh, good chunking damage coming in from Ivy as Liam's looking for a drag. Does have that feeding frenzy at level 7 for the cooldown reduction, and the drag duration increased by very small amounts, and that is Li Ming still going down. What?
That was Calamity. That was a Calamity death.
Youch! That did not
You wanted
work
to follow
out.
up on a Liam drag tongue to the Calamity into a Diablo who has 5,000 literal health points. Doing another, 300, 400, 500 damage with Calamity takes Diablo down to 70%. And then the Lord of Terror turned on this impetuous wizard and took her down a notch. Cure going down in kind of an unforced bait error from the drag tongue.
So another Immortal Phase will be spawning here in the north-south positioning. We are going to be seeing a Larian in the top and Belith in the bottom position as 30K Cattle leads the charge, spawning some beetles. I am looking, he's got a Nerubian armor, he's got that bed of barbs for the slow, he's also got the the Subterranean shield, which is going to give some extra...
more.
Yeah, I have been seeing that more and more, and I do like it because of the way that Anubrex kind of, they want to go in and stay in, they don't want to... they don't want to go in and start running away immediately, so I do like that extra shielding, and it's a decent amount. Right now, it's 570 points of shield for 5 seconds, and that does scale up as the game does progress, but 10 talent to your first to WildHeart.
If you combine that shield together with the spell armor at 1, that is a shield of 570 point shield right now that gets basically 1,300 effective extra health against spell damage, which is really, really... impressive, so long as you make sure that you get that burst kill during that time. I wonder who will be his cocoon target. Maybe trying to remove Diablo, but then Diablo has lightning breath, so if Haben is very fast, he can block the cocoon, put it on full cooldown and get the lightning breath out.
Jet propulsion from Blaze. Cure gets chunked quite a bit here from Ivy Tings as there's a wave of force that pushes back the enemy. Liam coming in with the brush stock into the flank onto Haben. Doesn't land the drag, has to burrow. Does have Lurker Strain from level 4, but Mason Blaze on the Greymane is shredding. He's slicing, he's dicing, he's in that Worgen form with his activatable, and that will be Belith going down. A very strong Alarian to go into top lane that has already been pushed up. Earlier in this map, we did see that initial siege into the top lane fort taking down the gate, but a lot of this was given on the sheer fact that 30K didn't have 10 talent tier, and they have that now. What is the major defense looking like? I do want to point one thing out, Grubby. Go for the throat for the Greymane. Kind of like that initiation from Mason Blaze, or that aggression.
Yeah, it's mobility as well. Not going to go for the Cursed Bullet into a Nubarak and Dahaka here. I think that kind of makes sense. He is the finisher after all. Lunara is the starter. So that makes a lot of sense. WildHeart with a nice little lead here. They're pushing in with the Immortal. Is there any deep flank from Cattle? He's in the expectable bush. There really aren't many to pick from, and you can see they're super aware of it. Danger ping. Cattle comes in, hits an impale on Diablo, but it creates a bit of space. It's still a good play the way that he's doing this.
Top lane fort has fallen. Liam trying to pick up some of the scraps of experience through the bottom lane as Madara clears out Alarian with this Commandeer Odin. Now, rotation to bottom lane, but Liam does read that rotation and backs away before getting ganked. The bottom lane fort will fall before... Yeah, this is a guaranteed... What?
Well, is it though?
Wait, damage over time, Lunara? No, 130, 77, 24...
24 health!
24 HP. Wow, I actually thought the damage over time would be enough, but the fight breaks out over here in the bottom lane with the bunker down from Blaze.
Off of Abba slap away the fort. as Cure is kind of getting out-traded here by Lunara. We see him dropping low a lot. We see the double attack thing on the fort. I don't even know what killed it. I think it's Lunara Wisp that killed it. Just detonated right on top of it.
That'd be such a great talent that you can grab for Wisp, where it's just when Wisp, you can detonate Wisp for X amount of damage. That'd be kind of interesting. That would actually be kind of interesting. It gives a little more tactical utilization outside of just vision at level 1, which pretty much feels at this point. You know, we have baked in talents like Diablo, for example. He hits level 10, he gets less souls are required for respawn. Muradin, he hits 10, he gets the piercing stormbolt. Maya hits level 20, she's get the extra charge on Vault of the Wardens. What if Lunara had something like that with her level 1? So that way we're not just picking Sentinel Wisp every single game. Like level 7 Lunara gets Sentinel Wisp value, or level 10 or something. I feel like that'd be cool as
or like
baked in.
Level 30 Lunara Wisp detonates, kills a hero.
Actually, you know what? You know what? We can make it like Jaina. Like Lunara deals 10,000 heroic damage, and now Wisp is upgraded. That'd be kind of cool.
Yes, and it'd be cool if it would like detonate summons away, just like in Warcraft 3. And who knows, maybe in WoW, where it can only kill like Gaslow Turret, Probius Pylon, Zagara, Hydra,
cool.
and stuff. Yeah.
I like that. All right, well, get right on that, devs, please. Thank you. As we have another objective phase spawning here, third one of the game in the north-south positioning once again. Now Belith on the top portion. This is going to be the Immortal that WildHeart wants to burn down, but it's 13 apiece for these two teams. All heroics off cooldown, all charges available as well, with Lunara getting her third stack.
Yeah, WildHeart has a massive macro advantage here. 30k needs to make this happen fast, and they are! Dragtongue on Greymane took him around the corner for a little bit of a deletion. Haven, Wayful Force interrupt there for him to not get away. This is exactly what 30k needed. Liam coming through for the team, getting the drag on the Greymane because the map was so much against them. 30k needed to make this happen fast. They were sustaining damage on their own Immortal despite trying to defend, and the map was against them. Now suddenly they've opened it up where that racing Greymane that made things so hard for them the last couple of objective phases is dead. The beast is dead. They get the first 50%, got it down to 12,888 HP.
So I like what we saw in that engagement. The drag onto Greymane, the call to kind of go for him immediately, cure with the combo. The bunker was there to attempt to save, but also I love that Cattle was able to step up and get the cocoon onto Weary Day just to nullify any sort of purge or even ancestral healing. Or even totem value. So I just really, really good communication from 30k. Very good execution as well. As the Immortals are still in the north-south positioning, just swapping vertically in their sides. As Liam is back into the mix, we still have poke damage onto the Immortal. Massive Shove will connect onto a Zergling here. But the Immortal is slowly being won over by WildHeart. What does 30k do? They clear out the Wisp, so WildHeart knows that 30k is advancing. And here comes the Commandeer Odin, starting to get some counter damage.
Yeah, Mason Blaze was kind of just shooting the thing with impunity, but now suddenly 30k is turning around. Liam there with the Brushstalker. Dragtongue anticipation not correct. Lightning Breath, he has no more burrow! The Haka goes down. Liam, in a rare occurrence of a little bit of a foible, goes down. The return attack had happened by 30k, but now they're trying to get out. They're so sorry that they even tried to attack the Immortal. Oh, the return kill on Blaze!
Hello?
Double kill, Li Ming value, Cure laying into WildHeart here.
Any magic missiles, any grenades? Cure has that calamity now. IBTings wants to come and get the kill. Can Cure make the outplay happen? Yep.
Oh, yes, he can.
Healing?
Winning the 1v1 with just one person helping him.
Unfortunately, not even honorable 1v1. That was Cure. I mean, not even.
That was good though.
But that was
good,
really,
though.
that was actually huge for the side of 30k right there, because WildHeart seemingly was building a case to really take this map number 2, but 30k, that's shut down. That's huge when it comes to experience and with the Immortal into top lane.
They really needed this. They were down 2 forts.
I agree.
Now, and they even lost their first member. They lost Liam, and then suddenly they just turned up the heat. Really, really cool plays there by 30k. They've got the Immortal, and it's more of a balancer of lane pressure rather than that they're getting massive push out of it. I mean, it's down to how much HP Bahamut. 10k, not much to push with anymore.
So we will see the Immortals sneaking in, or actually pushing in through top lane. There's the Commandeer Odin from Madara. That Annihilation is getting some decent damage. The Immortal does go down. Zergling comes in with the Jet Propulsion as the Massive Shove will not connect from Legacy. Here throwing in Arcane Orbs and Magic Missiles as much as he can. The slowing totem with the Earth Grasp from level 16 does come through. Zergling misses the Jet Propulsion. Bottom lane fort does fall to Liam. So this was a 4v5 push. Now Liam's here. Drag doesn't connect. It was very close between Haben and Zergling. And this fort, I think, is slowly saved. So Liam and friends continue to assail this top lane.
A really solid damage here via the Odin and the Immortal. The bottom is also a little bit in favor of 30k, with the minion wave gonna be winning out there in that bottom, as Haben is looking for a deep flank. Wisp reveals Liam on the flank. Zergling, 327 health as he goes into the bunker.
We'll have to, oh wait, hold on. Legacy is getting very low here. We'll be able to get some great healing out as the Cocoon does go out into the Rhaegar. Zergling low, Haben low as well, but the go for the throat from the Rhaegar confirms the kill onto the Stukov as we have the Tychus to fall as well. Lunar is the only one to go down. Kira trying to find a blink over the wall, will get it. Now, can he get away? He's mounted, he is running. Cattle trying to back out as well. Earth Grasp Totem on to Liam. He burrows into the ground, no essence available. He's got those tunneling claws from level 16 and is able to back away. Now, Cattle, can he get out? The Subterranean Shield buying a little bit of a window. That W is going to save the moment, but it's not enough as the Immortals will spawn a staggered death to the side of 30k.
That Jet, man. Well, how's that called again? That flame stream there by Zergling. So sick. Caterpillar was trying to run for his life. The battle had devolved into all the separate constituents, all the little mini battles. Will Cure get away? Will Haben find him? Will Liam get away? Will Caterpillar get away? So cool. And now, WildHeart, after that, after losing the previous Immortal in a big slugfest, a real slobber knocker, get the first 50% for free.
Alrighty, so that is going to be 50%, and we will be having the Immortals in the north-south positioning once again. This is going to be the Flame Streams from Zergling, and also that Oil Slick Mason Blaze shredding through. The members of 30k, they're not looking to win out this Immortal. What they're doing right now is just trying to reduce the shielding that will be on the enemy side, which will be going to bottom lane. Liam, you can see on the minimap, is actually going to try and push up top lane a little bit. Does clear things up a little bit, and I think he's going to be hearthing out, as this will be Alarian into the bottom lane.
Alarian into the bottom lane, into, let's see, a keep with 2 towers. Both are still healthy, but this is a big Immortal with a total health pool of 41,000. That's a lot. Cure's starting to try and work away at that. His magic missiles falling short of the mark for now, as he didn't anticipate for the Immortal stun pause.
Haben was anchoring in the bush for a second, looking for maybe that shadow charge over the wall, as here comes the Commandeer Odin to be that anti-siege tool to force back the enemy. Legacy is throwing the healing pathogen around, which does have the biotic armor at level 4. We do see a well tap, I believe, from Madara, just in case this fight does continue, and this is also looking like we will have a pause, one of the players DCing, unfortunately. So let's go ahead and bring it on back to Grubby and I. And, Grubby, let's take stock of, actually, we already see the readies coming out, so we'll continue this conversation, but right now, this could be a WildHeart push to end and take us to a map number 3 with a 1-1 score. It's definitely possible, and we have to see if WildHeart can do it here. The one thing before I throw it right back to you, the Immortals dealing, now that can't be right.
Well, let's go, let's go.
Yeah.
So the Immortal still has 20,000 health, which is about 4 times as much as a tank right now. That's quite a lot to burn through. So it's essentially a 6 versus 5 on core. They're going to try to make a play for it. WildHeart running in, getting the jet propulsion there on Liam. Liam trying to run away. They're going to go Shadow Charge, overpower on Liam. Liam going down.
That is going to be a jet propulsion that does, actually Diablo does go down, but this Immortal is already shredding through. Mason Blaze, speaking of shredding, will have those, that Worgen form, and it is an inevitable end. The members of WildHeart take map number 2 in our second best of 5 of the day. Liking what we just saw from the side of WildHeart, as they were able to really execute the side of 30k. Like, I definitely felt like it was doable for 30k, but a little bit of a blunder towards the end right there, as we're going to go ahead and get Justing back in the mix to break everything down that was on Battlefield of Eternity.
So we had a very interesting dynamic between the two teams where it felt like WildHeart would win pretty much every single fight in a sustained front to back in an open space, and 30K would win fights when they were able to get kind of the jump on the opponent. We saw the one time that they really started winning a real fight was when Liam got that burrow in and got the tongue onto Mason Blaze on Greymane to kind of start the fight out with a pick. The main difference between the two compositions is that if they try to just play front to back in a lane where everyone's kind of aware of each other, it's very, very difficult for 30K to engage. If Cattle burrows in on a Nubarak, he's going to immediately get CC'd and thrown around by Diablo and just shredded down. They're not going to have enough kind of space to really go for their one-shots that they need to get to win the fights. And we saw that quite a bit in that game. Is the only times that 30K won fights was off of that tongue from Liam, which was really huge. Or after that, where they got the reset and they come back and they look for another fight, and it's in the middle of the map where they're completely split. Haben did seem a little bit disjointed in that moment when they were in the middle of the map there when they fought, and Kira ended up getting those resets, which led to the 4-for-0 for 30K. And in that moment, that was sort of kind of highlighting the difference in the comps, where WildHeart's composition in a lane, when they're all looking at each other, just dominates. And they do that even when they're defending against an Immortal, because the Immortal that they ended up getting from that was easily defended by WildHeart. That was the third Immortal of the game. Typically, a third Immortal has a chance to end the game if it has enough of a shield, and in that case, it didn't even get a fort. WildHeart just standing there in a straight 5v5, holding their ground. I can't help but feel like if 30K wants to win the series, they need to be putting Cure on something like the Thrall like they had in the last game. They need to play to their strengths. I would say that WildHeart has undoubtedly the strongest double-ranged, of just pure ranged backline of all of CCL. Their duo between IBTings and Mason Blaze is just insane, the amount of damage they put out and how they cover for each other with damage and almost peel for each other with damage in fights. I can't imagine 30K with Madara and Cure really having the same amount of impact as Mason and IBTings do on a pure double-ranged. But what they can't do is what Cure can do, which is play things like the Zera tool, like the Thrall. They don't have that as an option for WildHeart, so I'd like to see if 30K wants to kind of play to their strengths. I'd like to see Cure play another melee like he did in Game 1. The Li Ming was good, it wasn't bad, but it's hard to compete with IBTings and Mason Blaze. If you're going to fight them on their own terms, it feels like the wrong thing to do. Definitely both teams, when they get their own drafts, when they get a draft that plays to their style, winning. So I think a lot of this series is going to come down to the draft, because the teams seem to be almost perfectly evenly matched when they're playing, just almost evenly matched, just playing to the strengths of their comps when they get it.
And that is the setup right now in our series. It's 1-1 between both of these teams. We are in the midst of a fantastic best of 5 that everyone thinks will go the distance, but hey, we'll have to see. I mean, Game 1 looked great for 30K. Game 2 was really, really well played and controlled by WildHeart, and things will continue. We're going to take a short little break. Before we go to that break, what I want you all to do is hit ! prize pool in chat. We're at 7,420.69 because of your generous donation. See, those cents throw me off every single time, regardless of how nice they are. But thank you as well, everyone at home, for donating towards the prize pool. If you'd like to get over to the Matcherino, ! prize pool. But we're going to take a short little break. When we come back, map number 3 between WildHeart and 30K. This is HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. My name is Bahamut, joined by Grubby and Justing, and we are in the midst of our second best of 5 of the day. We've got WildHeart Esports going up against 30K, and Grubby, things are really ramping up here, just like all of the games that you won yesterday, right? You won every single game you played after stream, right?
Nope. Oh, but I think it went okay. It went like 3-3.
Okay.
It was pretty satisfying. It was fun games. It was good games. Did have one more game that I didn't care for too much, where we simply would not draft a solo laner. Imagine you're on Shire. This is going to be prophetic.
Okay.
Little hint what could be the next map. You're on Shire. You go double backline range damage. You go a healer and a tank. What do you take for the final spot? A solo laner. What do we get? A Nazemo. Not ideal. Triple backline on Shire damage dealer at Masters level, guys. You think it's going to get better once you climb out of Silver, right? It doesn't always get better. And you're against Rexar and Genji. You're never able to get the top shrine. And still somehow we won. I don't know what's possible.
As we look at what map we're going to, and you might have alluded to exactly where we're going to, but I actually had a friend that I used to play with all the time, and what he would always tell me, he was like, Bahamut, Bronze and Master are no different, because once you get to Master, people just play like they're in Bronze. It's really, really funny. I think the best play you get is in Gold. So there you go. If you're Gold in Heroes of Storm, you are obviously better than Bronze and Master
chill.
players. It's chill. Yeah, it's definitely chill in Bronze and in Silver, or excuse me, in Gold and Plat. But those realms aside, we are going to be going to the realm of Shire. This is going to be the map choice of WildHeart Esports, as 30K opted for first pick priority here. And Justin, thoughts on Shire as we're about to load into draft number 3?
This map should be a map that I would expect to favor 30K. We heard in week 1 that it felt like there were almost too many cooks in the kitchen sort of thing, where they're all kind of in-game leaders and they all want to be doing their own thing. Shire is the map that allows for that the most. It's also a map where having someone like Cure on a flex pick that is more self-reliant, like a Thrall or a Zeratul, is extremely strong. It's not a map where you get to group up as much as WildHeart maybe likes with their double ranged. It's definitely more of a map where there's a lot of small skirmishes. It should cater a lot more to 30K with all of the little skirmishes, all of the small little macro decisions, and just needing to pick things that are a little bit more self-reliant. The one thing that we have seen from WildHeart that is a bit unique to them on this map was that Uther that we saw from Weary Day before that looked just phenomenal. I stand by saying that Weary is the best Uther in the league. I think he's nuts at Uther. So that is one thing that is special on this map. The self-reliant heroes are just better in general on Shire due to how it is so skirmish heavy. There's so many small 1v1s and 2v2s, where a support like Rhaegar, who can do camps by himself, or Uther, who can kind of just stand and fight somebody, or a monk who can do the same sort of thing. Those type of old school supports are a little bit better here. So I'd expect to see maybe some kind of transition into that if we don't see the Brightwing picked up super early for either of the teams.
No, we will get into our first ban here, and it's going to be that Diablo. Okay, 30K recognizing Haben's Diablo play, and it really was great in the last game. The anchoring was great. His positioning was exceptional, regardless of there was that one reset moment, but I don't think that was really too big of a deal for the side of WildHeart. As wow, Grubby,
The Haben hate.
Yeah.
Hate bin, am I right? Like, they're really going after a single hero here. What do they want him on? Well, not on those two. Are they even gonna first pick like Muradin or wait? Are they even gonna first pick like Johanna or something? Go for the full tank squeeze?
They could. They absolutely, and they will. So I will say this: I've casted Haben in the past before CCL even started, and I had seen his Muradin, Diablo, and a Nubrak. So I know that he's got those 3 in his repertoire. He did play actually quite a bit of Nubrak. I believe it was in the Heroes Rise Contender Series, and one of the last seasons they did run for that. So maybe we see a Nubrak, but a Nubrak doesn't feel the best at times. And I mean, you mentioned it earlier; he's very, very counterable.
Yeah, the Anubrak is still somewhat what I'm going to expect. You can also play Garrosh on this map, and it can be quite strong.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, there was a time where that was a strategy that we used to run, where we would run sort of like a 1-1-3 on this map and just have a Garrosh with like a Stukov and a Chromie or something, just running it down bottom, or even a Garrosh with a Uther and something bottom, for the armor and the follow-up CC. Garrosh is quite strong at controlling bottom if that's the way that you choose to play, but you kind of need a goalie to, or someone who can help top in that case, so that they don't just play through topside. Garrosh is an option. Anubrak's not bad, although, like you mentioned, he is easily countered by strong double ranged. But I'm not expecting a strong double range to be coming out from 30K for the reasons that I talked about before with them having Cure. Yeah. I'm really expecting a Zeratul if it's not banned here, or potentially a Maiev if it's not banned here. I think a good play by WildHeart, if they can play it, would be to pick and ban them. So I'm expecting that if it's up, Zeratul will be picked by Cure if WildHeart doesn't take it themselves. I believe Ivy Tings can play the Cure build of Zeratul, so if we see that come out, that could be really cool for WildHeart.
Zagara ban here. It's if you told me in season 1 of HeroesCCL that we'd be seeing more and more Zagara bans in the upcoming seasons, I would have laughed in your face. But here we are, and we actually see Zagara bans as well as picks from some other games we've had so far in the season. But Grubby, any thoughts here on the evolution of Shire draft?
Uther was the pick for WildHeart last time, but this time it is going to be Brightwing, of course. Anubrak coming in, that makes sense. With Johanna, Muradin, Diablo gone, he is top 4 tank with those. Stitches would have been possible, but you would need an entire draft around that. And Lunara doesn't super fit it. She does offer vision with the Wisp, but doesn't have the best burst on someone that comes freshly out of a gorge. that person is after all not poisoned yet, so it's hard to follow up on that for her. And no hard CC. Rhaegar, Chromie coming in. There's the Chromie goalie. Rhaegar for the camps. Johanna Blaze, Sylvanas for the camps. An absolutely fantastic draw for 30k. Picture perfect for this map. A little bit less sure about WildHeart side as of right now. I like Hager and Brightwing very much on this map. Anubarak is fantastic. Lunara a little bit less, but they must be confident about it because they've first picked it. No Zeratul coming in from Cure, but great draft 30k. And what is the final special pick here for IB Things?
Tychus. Okay. I feel like 30k can take this, but of course, Justin, want to get your thoughts here on what could happen for Dragonshire as we're loading on into map number 3.
So 30k's composition does pretty much cover everything that you want on Dragonshire. They have a very easy way to play the game. You have Blaze to sit in the top lane, who is one of the best at playing against people playing towards topside on Dragonshire. It's very hard to play to topside when Blaze exists. He can very safely clear against 1 or 2 people. He can clear the Knights fairly easily with his spread damage that he has. So it's really hard to play into top against Blaze, but it's even harder to play into Chromie in bottom, which is the expectation is for 30k to put their Chromie, their goalie bottom, and to put their Blaze, their solo lane top. And then they have a 2 or 3 man unit with Johanna Rhaegar that can clear mid quickly with or without Sylvanas. And then any kind of combination of Sylvanas and Rhaegar can do camps as well. So you'll most likely see a 3-man with the Johanna, Rhaegar, and Sylvanas to clear mid quickly over WildHeart, rotate to either top or bottom and push. And you can't really push into either Blaze or Chromie. So just for the early game for the map, 30k's setup is perfect. WildHeart should struggle a lot more in the early game than 30k. If it goes to really late, if it gets to level 20s, WildHeart might be able to win team fights in a 5v5 if they're able to force the game to just be a normal 5v5. But in the sense of just the macro, 30k's comp is way better for the map.
Alrighty, well thank you, Justin, as well. And we'll see if your prediction is correct because we got WildHeart Esports in the blue, Zergling on the Hager, IB Things on the Tychus, Mason Blaze on the Lunara, Weary Day to play the Brightwing, and Haben on the Anubarak. Over on the side of 30k, we've got Legacy on the Rhaegar, Cattle on the Joanna, Kier on the Sylvanas, Liam on the Blaze, and Madara back on that Chromie. I'm feeling 30k on this one, Grubby, but what are you thinking here about the drafts or anything?
Yeah, I think wave clear and camp clear is very important here. I think defense is exceptional here, and Joanna is that, Blaze is that, Chromie is that. I think 30k has quite a bit better draft. If they can stay connected and not need to pause, I think 30k will have a nice advantage here.
And we'll hope for the smoothness of all of that. Now, I'm looking at minimap right now and seeing Blaze up in the top lane. Joanna did check the bush since there's a lot of enemy WildHeart members missing. So good intuition from Cattle to say, I wonder if there's a potential gank into the top lane as we just continue back into rotations. Okay. All right. Well, nothing of really major note just yet. A little bit of an experience advantage from WildHeart. Interesting. WildHeart is... They're kind of changing up how they're playing Dragonshire. It feels like it's like a top to mid priority with Lunara just floating around in bottom lane, at least at the start right now. It's just I find this start different and interesting from WildHeart. We don't get this very often. It's usually
we've seen a couple of cool things like Sylvanas plugging bot instead of Chromie, letting Chromie do camps rather than the other way around. I guess Sylvanas has more threat when left unattended in the bottom lane, able to attack a tower. Tychus was covering. IB Things was covering for Hager there, for Zergling's Hager in order to take that Bruiser camp. So basically, all the camps get taken by both teams here, as we do have a bit more of a problem. Sadly, one of the players on 30k keeps having disconnect issues as his computer or his internet is acting up a bit. Very unfortunate. Hopefully at the CCL Season 4 LAN, which is on August 5th to 7th, you should definitely come and check that out in Minnesota, in the Mall of America, biggest mall in USA. We won't have any technical problems. Here's hoping, knock on wood. But right now we do have a lot of moving pieces here to this online broadcast. We have a few disconnects. WildHeart was actually gracious enough to share their timeout pool, their pause pool, with 30k, and that has given a few extra precious minutes. While pauses are unfortunate, it is preferable to fighting 4v5. Fair play triumphs today here. It's not necessary to do so, but they went ahead and did it anyway.
Good
now,
sportsmanship.
Big attack here on Legacy. Legacy trying to get away, and he does. He actually goes back in for a bite. They get a Nubarak first blood to 30k.
Very well played. Zergling's the target. Pyromania popped by Liam. He throws the oil stick. Is there a jet propulsion? No, but what is the thing to note is the Dragonite through mid. Cattle was able to grab that. It's early game Dragonite 2 minutes in, dealing 198 standard damage, 396 damage into structures, and with no one counter-sieging or dealing damage to the Dragonite. There was counter-siege in bottom lane. Dragonite does find some value through mid. Even more to be found through top lane as this camp just now expires.
Now, that kill on the Nubrak was made and Legacy did get away, but this is kind of where we expected these teams to be based on the respective macro power that they were packing. Funny that actually the 3-man push did more than the Dragonite. Dragonite gets 2 towers. Of course, you know, it's 3 versus 1, either 3-man push or a 1-man Dragonite push. It's strong, but it's still not as much push as what 30k was fielding up top. No matter what though, almost all the towers are gone, at least top and mid, all the towers are gone. Bottom, not quite yet, but they're a bit damaged. And 30k is actually telegraphing that they're taking Bruiser Camp and saying, what you gonna do about it, chumps?
And, I mean, Liam was in the bush for kind of a flank or anything like that. You had a time trap out as well from Madara to scout things out. You had Time Walker's Pursuit from Madara as well. So I love what 30k is doing with the vision abilities they have. I also want to note this because as the weeks have gone by, we've seen more and more of a change onto the build for Rhaegar. We're seeing more Purification at level 7, more Feral Heart at level 1. Earth Living Enchantment, I feel like, is like a standard at this point at level 4 with the extra healing, but right now a Polymorph a Polymorph Sylvanas does go down. Ibetings on the left-hand side was low, but was able to back away. Legacy trying to get out of here does have that extra healing, but the damage over time from Mason Blaze might be enough. Is there a heal? Is it off cooldown? It just came off cooldown as I was checking. But, last but not least, Cattle, 4 minutes in, finished the level 4 talent. That's huge. 80% slow anytime you hit an enemy hero with your punish. Yes.
Like even if you hit a single target. Yeah, he just did it. He just did it on Brightwing.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I missed it.
Slow. Yeah, it was a bit sudden, I know. But, okay, well, 1 kill apiece and structural advantage to 30k. They've picked up slowing sands for Chromie. Cure did have a little bit of a skerfuffle there where he Haunting Wave forward, got polymorphed and killed. Or was it Haunting Wave backwards? Either way, he got polymorphed and killed quite far forward. But they're still in a totally fine position. Liam narrowly escaping death there from the Burrow Charge engage.
There's the slow into Ivy and Haben. Phase shift from Weary Day up into the top lane. That means Mason Blaze is all by himself, and Cure wants the kill. He does manage to land enough damage, which Madara will be able to solidify that. Cure pops the black arrows. Well, we know this because the wings around Sylvanas visually, but also the tower itself is going to have that sort of shut down blackish, brutish color. And we see these siege giants through bottom. We do have a fight over the top lane, but Cure continues to try and apply damage with the 10 talent tier. What is Cure going to go at 10? It's the only hero that hasn't grabbed their 10s yet. Is it Mind Control? I was wondering if that'd be the snap call to maybe pull Haven back in, but we'll see if Wailing Arrow will be the call, as this is still hold for level 10, maybe. Ooh. Hey, Mind Control, there it is!
There it is, he's gonna Mind Control. Hey. Brightwing, he hits! He anticipated the jump away target and it gets a kill immediately. Talk about value, Bahamut.
That was a purge onto Brightwing as well to mitigate any sort of potential healing she could get too because of the level 7. That level 7 reduces incoming healing by 40%, and if you have any shielding, it does damage that as well. Now, Zergling in top pops the shockwave. 30k are just... Steamrolling is not the word because that sounds so much more one-sided, but they are just running down the enemy team. Running and gunning, there you go, you could say.
Bulldozering, perhaps? That's pretty one-sided.
Yeah, I know. It's like I don't want that to be the term, but like that wording sounds right. Like it's just constant kill, constant pressure, constant aggression from 30k. This is what I was expecting to see in map number 2. Maybe those DC issues, change things up. But that all aside, this is Shire led by 30k for the time being, as we have another Dragonite available. Who will be able to grab it?
What is a steamroller actually? Is that something you iron clothes with?
No, so a steamroller is something to flatten the the pavement when you're resurfacing the ground. So like if you use like the asphalt, the black stuff that's on top of the the highways or the roads, you use a steamroller to flatten it and level it out and stuff like that. It can also be used in other construction methods, but that's the simplest way to put it.
Okay. Slowing sands here on Anuraki had the Burrow Charge away. Oh, Cure very far forward. Falling Sword actually to do some peeling. There was a purge on Cure as well. Ancestral is available. Legacy held off on using it. Now you have 30k working on the middle fort. because Tychus is there, Dragonite cannot believe that he will finish off the fort. You've got Liam falling back here, decided to kick the Tychus away, and just putting the game in a good game state for 30k.
And 30k is not really going to find a lot of structure with this. They do deny the Dragonite. Now, Haven is floating around, maybe looking like they're going to try and make a play out of the Dragonite. A kick goes out onto one enemy. Chromie's down over there. We have a solid level lead. Mind Control goes out, not connecting. Cocoon onto the Rhaegar on the backline as Cure gets the Haunting Wave away. Tries to burn through that. Legacy getting away. Has the Ancestral, doesn't pop it. Gets the Earth Living Enchantment as we have a kick on to Brightwing, who gets the Blink Heal away. At the current angle that Brightwing was at, she would have been kicked over the gate, but that doesn't happen. Polymorph mitigates the Jet Propulsion. Mason Blaze low gets the Soothing Mist, and Ivy Tings and friends are still trying to run away. I'm looking to see, does Liam have a Jet Propulsion? It just came off cooldown. He lands it. That's a kill onto Ivy Tings as Zergling and friends gotta run away.
Very greedy play by Cure. Like, I've been watching him, and he has a lot of forwards momentum. Low mana, low health, still attacking. But that greed is paying off because it is tempered with wisdom and experience. And twice he has fallen afoul of that greed with Li Ming once, and once this game with Sylph. But overall, it is getting reach. It is getting kills from players that normally maybe would not be equally endangered. Very strong play by 30k here. Great individual play. Also by members like Madara, by Legacy, really pushing their heroes to the limit of their capabilities.
And they also push ahead of the enemy side. They had that 13 talent tier advantage till about nowish, which is quite huge. The members of 30k are constantly holding an advantage over WildHeart, which is the big factor. Liam does step off the point, throws the oil slick out, and Lunara is not able to step up. Phase shift from Brightwing does have that peekaboo for a little bit of reveal. Hogger showing in top lane. This could be a 4v5 benefiting 30k Cattle, pretending like he can potentially step up here.
Yeah, exactly. He is pretending because he didn't have the power of this man
exactly.
behind him yet. I love it when you're good enough to pretend that you're bad, to bait the opponent to push into you because your team is actually there, but then to take it further and to pretend that you're good and that your team is with you when it really isn't, so that they have to give you the fear aura that you do not deserve at that moment.
It's a really, Cattle sells the idea of his teammate being around him, which is just such a, I mean, they weren't showing on map. The assumption was, yeah, they're on Siege Giants, but we have Liam in the top lane, Chromie to go to bottom. Liam, I don't know if you get out of this one, Liam. There's a Brightwing. That bunker comes down as well. Buys a small window for the time being. Oil Slick is here. Cattle rotates up. There is a Cocoon onto Cure as well, looking for a mind control as Liam lands the Jet Propulsion. Falling Sword from Joanna. Cattle lands onto a few enemies. The Blink Heal's coming through from this Brightwing as the fight does continue with a Shockwave onto Cattle, who's gonna get the Ancestral just in time.
Oh my god. Well, Cattle might still fall. Mason Blaze is hippity-hoppeting after him, and there is another Ancestral Heal, but look at that huge Noxious Blossom hitting 900 damage. Mason Blaze with the good accuracy, now punishing Legacy a bit as well. But this all comes off the back of a bad macro situation for WildHeart. There is a Siege Camp attacking their keep right now, but that was job well done. My god, it takes long to take down a Blaze. But finally, they did end up being successful at that. Talent down, no less. Good job, must be said, to WildHeart.
Meanwhile, in bottom lane, there is that Siege Giant that was grabbed earlier when Cattle was selling the idea that his team was around. And this Siege Giant, well, there were two of them, but one of them apparently was just like, oh, dude, I'm leaving you. Catapult is here, and it does get the keep front gate. Ivy Tings is actually not going to go clear that. Seems like there's a call to go mid for a Dragonite. Unfortunately, that's not going to have the channel. 1, Madara has the delay. 2, Liam's in the top lane. And 3, there's a time trap right there for more delay as the Time Walker's Pursuit will be used in mid. That is that little pulse right there to get some vision. Phase shift from Weary Day gets the opposing side vision as well.
That was, I think, the first time we saw blue lasers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not 100% sure, but
well, no,
I think
second time, because we were we were talking about something earlier, and there was the push into the top lane, and I thought there was actually the Dragonite to the side of WildHeart, but there was a snipe onto one of the, I think it was actually onto the Sunshine in top lane. But yeah, we haven't, and I think you make a good point with this, and let's continue because I think WildHeart have been turtled up. They haven't been able to.
Oh, did you see that? IB Tings knew where the time trap was, so he pretended to walk into it and stepped back right when Madara pressed arm or trap. That was so smart. He had been flanking, he knew he was revealed, pulled back, pretended to go in for the flank, and stepped back. That was so smart. The mine revealed itself. as 30k did get a bit of cheeky keep damage in. Now this is going to be the fight of the game, I feel like.
Liam gets the Ancestor healing just in time as the bounce from Hogger puts Zergling in a really precarious spot. Falling Sword from Joanna. Cure is way too far forward with everyone turning onto Zergling, and Zergling, that bounce. I mean, we're talking about selling ideas. That bounce made it look like Zergling was going to be killable, but then that pushed the Sylvanas into a bad spot, and WildHeart was able to capitalize. Cure goes down, and I had said that it was the members of WildHeart kind of turtled up. They may have lost major structures, but this could be Dragonite to our blue team, who might be able to open up the map further here.
And let's see if WildHeart can finally kind of take it back here. Brightwing, a bit of an island here by herself. No minion wave to get away, but she is determined to turn this shrine blue. Lasers channel, Hogger's there. Blaze is gonna come in with the oil. It is too late. First Dragonite to WildHeart.
Okay. Now we see how much WildHeart can do with this, as well as the split soak through bottom lane. Dragonite dealing 693 damage into structures, half that into standard. Right wing looking like she's gonna split soak top. Dragonite time stopped, slowing sands as well. Doesn't affect the vehicle. The bottom lane fort front gate will start falling. IBTing's getting low here. Cattle steps in, mind control. Way too short from Cure. More maybe of a threat in general, but I'm not sold on that one, as that is going to be Liam taking a lot of damage. He dives into the backline, has the collision course, pops the bunker. Cocoon onto Madara, who's going to be cleared out of said Cocoon. Liam still chasing in, pops the Pyromania. Dragonite to fall. Bunker is going to be accessible to Liam once again.
Good spin.
But Hogger finds a beautiful spin.
Yeah, I was wondering if he had an immediate escape path coming out of the Dragonite. That was a good spin. He did not have time to line up any angles whatsoever. Should be noted too that Weary Day saved IBTings from the brink at just 280 health or so. He was in a very compromised position, being saved by Bunker. Not by Bunker, sorry. Being saved there and getting away right before it was too late out of that slowing sands. So, this was supposed to be WildHeart's happy occasion. They got the kill on Cure, they stole a siege camp, took the Dragonite. What did they really get out of it? Not that much. All forts are still at 90% health or more.
And that 20 talent tier is right around the corner for the side of 30k. A win condition is kind of set here for 30k. If they find one good team fight, the death timers are quite long, the damage is available, Cure Siege is really good with the Sylvanas, and they could look for the bottom lane keep that's already been taken down to around 75% of its HP, and this is more waves being pressed in through the bottom lane. With 20 talent tier, you're in friends, they want something here. They do have that Call of the Dark Lady, which is a very short cooldown on mind control. I expect that to go out very, very often, just to try and go fishing for the enemy, as Liam goes in for the jet propulsion, can't connect onto IBTings.
Yeah, I think I would have shot already the mind
Sam, no,
control.
I'm waiting for it. I'm like, where, Cure, just use it. It's like a 10-second cooldown, my dude.
I think he doesn't want to bait his team to do a PvP engagement. He just wanted to make use of Black Arrow and all the DPS and all the timing to kill the keep as quick as possible, as Zergling gets a very nice top fort. The least important ending lane, but it is still an important pressure and information lane. So getting that top fort additionally to the XP that it now ends up unlocking, as you get a larger percentage of passive experience when you kill forts, is quite valuable there for WildHeart. But he's down for 30k.
And quarter of a level to go for the side of WildHeart Esports to get their to get their level 20s. Dragonite also, Mason Blaze, gets to the point in time. That's a nice sneak for the side of WildHeart, but what are they going to get with this? I see the Dragonite going the wrong way on the minimap. You gotta go right, you gotta go to the right. You gotta go to the right.
Well, so there's always a balance between losing your health first or losing your timer first. At this stage in the game, with the damage that's out there, you always lose the timer first. So timer is the less precious resource. It has 20k health only, compared to, let's say, a Battlefield of Eternity boss at this point would be like 45k.
True.
So less than half of what a BOE boss would be. So if you are not level 20 yet, it's perfectly fine to run straight home, take 0% damage, then use it when you're ready. WildHeart is now ready. They have the DK, but they even need to be mindful of the fact that Lunara would be a more significant DPS than the Dragonite itself is. They have slightly more control, but less DPS. So 30k is happily advancing forward, saying, hey, we're happy to take a team fight if that's what it takes. And therefore the Dragonite, once again, feels virtually useless.
Yeah, Bottom lane's constantly getting pushed in. Tychus Brightwing will show for that. Cure and the rest maybe... Okay, that's a Haunting Wave out. Never mind. Mind Control's off cooldown. Everything is off cooldown. Full stacks on Brightwing Blinks as well as Lunara, Thornwood Vines. Chromie, Madara poking out as much as they can with these Sandblast. Did go for the Piercing at level 20. Technically 18 for Chromie, but still... We do have the Ancestral Healing available with the Farseers. Cattle is going to get the Iron Skin popped. Looking also, Cattle did go for Heaven's Fury at level 20. We take stock of everything, Grubby. It feels like one bad fight for WildHeart could be game ending, but I feel like WildHeart have to find like 2 to 3 good fights to really end here.
And Justin said that the level 20 situation could be quite good for WildHeart. We've barely been able to see that come into effect. The first time they got level 20, they still had a Dragonite without Lunara's availability. It means she wouldn't have that poke damage from Forest Wrath, neither would she have Abolish Magic. Once there is a situation where a contested area can be fought over with macro equality on the map, that's where we'll see if Justin's words held some extra prophetic value where WildHeart can actually win a team fight. Because for the most part in this game, 30k has been at the steering wheel. They're 5 forts against 2. They have a clear way to end via bot. And even if WildHeart gets 1 or 2 kills, that wouldn't be enough to finish the game off the back of. So 30k is still very much in the lead. I'm going to call them a 70 to 30 macro advantage lead. That means that WildHeart, they're not quite desperate, but they would have a slightly lower threshold on the quality of team fights that they could take in any given situation. They do want to get a little bit creative, trying to find and force a fight somewhere, somewhen. As we do have a little bit of a disconnect here. Dang nabbit.
Well, you know what? While we're here, Grubby, I think we can talk about the potential of what we could see here. Because right when we went to a pause, we could see that WildHeart was going for this massive flank rotation. And the thing that I'm actually looking at, I'm trying to zoom out a little bit further. I don't think that anything of the minion wave showed this. So WildHeart is currently in a setup for a big... we're actually going to get back into the game in just a second, so we're going to keep talking about this. So WildHeart is about to flank right into 30k, and this is the fight that WildHeart needs. We got to get right back in this, because this is... I was waiting for Haben to go for Liam or someone, but no, they immediately back away. I thought this was going to be the moment. Madara taking damage, Mind Control coming out, Madara down to a third.
Yeah, Madara really, really low. Luckily his health pool is a low max, so a couple of Rhaegar heals will get him right back up. There's the fountain as well.
Okay. So...
With Brightwing clearing out bottom lane, there's double catapult and part of a Bruiser Camp. Bruiser Camp now captured for WildHeart. They're the only ones with a macro, let's say, with a Merc Camp pushing. Though catapults are just as good, if not better, than a Bruiser Camp. So, yeah, it's 50-50 on the map. We have a Shockwave on Johanna. That's a big resource, man.
Oh, no!
Oh, Cure!
Good night, Cure. He's going to go down. Haben goes back in onto Madara. That's a polymorph as well. Ancestor Healing with the Farseer's Blessing will be coming through. No control from the Harder. Will be bouncing from player to player, as we do have a lot of members from 30k trying to back away. Bunker down from the Blaze. There's going to be a Cocoon as well. Actually, that was the Cocoon from Haben to lock down the Blaze. As a double kill comes through, Dragonite phase is available. This could be the huge moment, the turnaround moment for WildHeart, but of course, we had said this earlier, these couple kills, this isn't going to be GG. WildHeart needs to continually apply this pressure through each lane.
Yeah, they may even take a little bit of core damage here. There's a double catapult and no counter catapults yet. No, it's not going to be core damage. Okay, and there's a Dragonite. For the first time, Dragonite will get value as Sylvanas is presently dead still. I think the minimum expectancy here, Bahamut, is double fort, and a keep is a big question mark.
Keep is... Yeah, double fort, I absolutely agree. Sorry, I looked away for 1 second, and then I'm just like, oh yeah, the fort in mid, it is gone. The fort in bottom should be gone as well. Right wing pushing back the bottom lane. She'll have the phase shift available. Yeah, she does have it available. So now Dragonite dealing 900 damage plus into structures. What else can this Hogger find? Zergling looking to step up, but doesn't want to step too far up. So, wait, hold on, Cattle? Nah, he's fine. He's got Iron Skin.
Yeah, they're working on the keep wall now, but everybody is back. Chromie is peppering them good with some damage. He has that piercing sandblast. Bottom keep wall is gone. So now we're actually getting to a situation where if WildHeart gets 1 kill, then they can actually end. They've created enough space and opening. For 30k, this was already true. And Cure's mind control fishing can continue unabated once he gets a bit of line of sight on the opponent.
Battle's providing a little bit of that in the anchored position just above the team. Haben kind of floating around as well. We do have that Sentinel Wisp from Lunara sitting in the bush that is providing quite a bit of vision. I'm actually going to check it really quickly. I'm just trying to see what it's seeing, and it doesn't actually see anyone who's... actually, it does see Kato right now, so it is going to be... All right, cleared out, moved. Dragonite phase ending. Timer is going to be the death of it.
Let's look at the camps. Double siege camp available. Very rapidly being pounced on. Bottom bruiser in 5 seconds. Top left bruiser 1 minute. Top right bruiser 2 minutes.
Cattle chasing in, sees the enemy getting the channel onto the camp, and will just back away looking for lane clear. Brightwing, Weary Day. Phase shift available, just pushing back this top lane, not allowing those catapults to stack up too much. But here comes a big condemn. That's Commandeer Odin, a lot of damage into Mason Blaze. Falling Sword from the Johanna will be coming through as well. Zergling gonna get the spin out. Brightwing with the phase shift has joined into the team fight, and Madara and the crew start to run out of bottom lane.
Wanna listen to some WildHeart comps to see how they use this Odin?
Into WildHeart we go.
We did bot parts.
Yeah,
we did bot.
Yeah, we can do it. We can do it. It's kind of hard into sands though. We can't let them set up.
We just bait it.
They
have
can
to walk
burn
in.
it, probably.
They're
They
so
have to
full,
walk
right?
in. They have to check
Wait.
every bush. Just careful for behind though. They might run behind us. I think Blaze running behind us. Don't stack on point for Chromie. Resets.
First.
Rhaegar maybe? Okay, this is kind of bad. Back.
Back.
Dead. Just run. It's too hard.
So dangerous.
I think we just defend top and get hearts. They're gonna run out of hearts, careful. They're looking for a pick.
All the prep, all the caution, and unfortunately Hogger gets caught out. Is this the nail in the coffin for the game? It doesn't seem like 30k wants to end. They seemingly want to grab a camp and maybe go for Dragonite. Grubby? Oh, did I lose you? Well,
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I didn't hear you yet.
Oh, weird. Okay, well, either way, sorry about that.
I was like, that's an uncomfortable silence. I
was-
can't say anything because I thought I'm still in the voice room with the players.
Oh, I must be so sneaky with that. But what I was curious is just, 30k not ending immediately. I guess with the Hogger dead, it wasn't enough.
Yeah, 35 seconds on Hager. Tychus actually has an Odin again, had grenades. Johanna dropped to like 5%. They get the Dragonite now. Let's check how much health it has. 31k. They knew this was a disastrous fight. Hager's death actually gave Dragonite Odin here. 55 spell armor. Nice spell armor there from Brightwing. Odin still being oiled up here. So that's, you would think as a machine that's good, but it's not good for him because it went to all the wrong places. As the Dragonite goes to the bottom lane, 80% health on the Dragonite. This could be an ending DK, but I somehow feel like it might not be. Like, DK, normally at level 24, this used to be a win condition, but I don't know what changed. I think Odin Lunara just have too much reach on it.
I agree with you absolutely. This Dragonite deals 1,206 damage into structures. Hogger is showing in top lane as that Bruiser camp was pushed up and did get about 50% of the keep in that top lane. Ivy Tings doesn't have the Commandeer Odin for another 50-some seconds. Shepherd Potion from Liam does connect. The body blocking is set up. The kick from the Dragonite being attempted here as they actually might have canceled that. I'm not 100% sure. Ancestor Healing goes on to Legacy in the bottom of our screen as the Dragonite starts to put damage onto the core. Ivy Tings getting very low here and will go down to the Sylvanas inside said Dragonite. The core shielding has fallen. The damage is there. Hogger going for the no control. And ladies and gentlemen, 30k will be taking map number 3. GG, well played.
Big wow there. Really nicely done by 30k. It looked like it was almost turning against them after a couple of kills. But they got a great fight on that bottom Bruiser camp in the aftermath of the Dragonite. Taking trade on the Siege camp, going for the Bruiser, knowing this was a good place to fight with that lethal Madara Chromie. Used to be a Chromie OTP, you said, Justin.
Yeah, Madara showing why he was known for his Chromie before he was really known for anything else in that last game again, especially on that bot point, like you mentioned. Yeah, he was a one trick back in the day.
This is Justin, this was tenuous is probably the right word for this matchup, because it was everyone seeming like the other team was going to just, take one fight and win. That's how a lot of these moments felt.
The early game was, I guess, mostly to be expected, with 30k having a much better composition for the map, for being able to kind of just control top lane, control bot lane, and then have their 3-man, whatever that is, what combination that is, doesn't really matter as long as they clear mid, and then they can kind of go wherever they want, which we saw them controlling most of the early game on the side of 30k, and that WildHeart was really just trying to lose as little as possible into the late game and then try to get any 5v5s they possibly could on even footing. That is mostly how the game went. There was the one really nice time, though, by 30k where it felt like WildHeart might have been losing too much, where they went from getting the bottom pick onto the Lunara to the middle pick, where they picked Brightwing, and then they rotated top and picked Hogger, and it was just back to back to back, pick after pick after pick, from going just this death squad, this roaming death squad of 30k. This was the start of that, I believe, where they kill Mason Blaze, and then they immediately rotate mid, and then Brightwing dies, and they immediately rotate top, and then Hogger dies. Yep, here comes the Brightwing. So it was back to back. This is right after Mason is just respawning and getting back bottom, and then after this they'll end up going top and killing Hogger. So it was just non-stop aggression in the early game by 30k, but the objective on this map is not really strong enough to snowball into a win just off of that alone, unless you're able to have already opened up all these structures through bottom, which they hadn't. Not until level 20 did they actually secure that bot keep. This pick onto Cure was that 5v5 that WildHeart really needed. They got the 2 picks, they get the pick onto Blaze. I thought that WildHeart was going to be able to kind of rip open the game here in this moment, but they really didn't get enough with their Dragon Knight. They got the mid fort and the bottom fort with the Dragon Knight that they secure from these 2 kills. I think even though it feels bad to do it and it's extremely risky, because if you don't make a game-ending push there by not killing it, I think taking the bottom fort there was a mistake. They had 20 seconds left on Blaze. This moment was really where they lost the game for WildHeart, though. Zergling fighting on the point here. You could hear the apprehension in the comms from WildHeart that they weren't quite confident in taking that fight. They knew that the risks of fighting there, but they need to take 5v5 still. They're not going to be able to be split up on the map. They felt like that was kind of their fight to take, but it was recognized, I guess, almost immediately that no, we can't fight on the point here when there's going to be an AoE Ancestral healing everybody on the point. You can't fight there. Zergling dying alone was basically the moment that they lost the game for WildHeart. They were kind of fighting against it the whole game. It felt like an uphill fight the whole game with WildHeart's comp, and 30k a couple of times slipping, but that last fight really secured the game for 30k, and they kind of had it from start to finish with the exception of a few blips. Both teams really just sort of having a style and sticking with it throughout the series, where WildHeart's really 5v5 focused and 30k is a little bit more split, macro focused, kind of, splitting up the map sort of thing. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of which style wins out by the end of the series.
Well, we will find out where we're going to for map number 4, because this could be the final map of the weekend as 30k sits in the advantage spot, and we will be seeing 30k choosing to take us to Curse Hollow as the members of WildHeart have opted in for first pick priority getting into this map. And now, Grubby, and I want to extend this to Justing as well, but I want to start with Grubby. This is a very, very important question. We can talk about draft when we get there. What are your thoughts on banana pizza?
Banana garlic pizza?
Banana pizza. Pizza with bananas on it.
I first had banana pizza in the Spanish islands of Gran Canaria. I was on a family vacation and we decided to have pizza all together. And I checked out the menu, and I'm a little bit adventurous. And I saw banana garlic pizza, and I saw the picture. You think they would slice the banana in like little discs, little circles?
Yes.
But no, the madman sliced them vertically. So you had 3 equi-sized banana-shaped slices, kind of like arrayed in a kind of flower petal shape all across the pizza. I thought it was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen, besides Reforged graphics. Decided, yes, I'm going to try it out. It was banana garlic pizza. I thought, that sounds weird. And, I'm not judgmental. I like Nickelback too. Guess what? It was great. I remade it at home. It became an international sensation.
Can we just talk about
Wait, because you made it at home?
I can't.
Yeah, but a sensation of being bad. People keep making fun of it to this day that I ever ate that.
Okay, I thought you meant like it was so good when you made it that it became like a worldwide global phenomenon or something. Like
I wish.
Well, if you actually Google banana pizza, Grubby's face does show up.
It's just
next to
Grubby and his
Google
pizza
images.
at home.
Yeah, but
people are just too narrow-minded. Like they hear it, they just have so much They prejudged me, all right? They prejudged the banana garlic pizza.
I will say this: I'm in that camp of, you know what? If you wanna put whatever toppings on your pizza, go for it. If you wanna put pineapple and ham on it, go for it, my friend.
This man knows how to live.
I'm not the one who's eating it, so it doesn't matter. It's just the idea of it is not appealing to me. Trust me, I'll try a banana pizza but I won't order one. I'm not gonna order a whole banana pizza for myself. But if I ever get presented with the slice of it, I would try it. Absolutely, I'm an adventurous man. I can't be that close-minded. But let's be open-minded about Cursed Hollow, because we are here, and I said what could be our final map of the day. WildHeart want to take us to that map number 5, 30k, looking to close things out, and that would push 30k into a record of 9-2 if they can win this map, and a overall record of 3-0. But of course, excuse me, Justing, Savannah's first pick for the side of WildHeart.
Did you just puke a bit?
Sorry.
Banana pizza.
I was literally tweeted after the break. I was like, man, I'm gonna get a pizza after stream, and now I'm just.
No, you're not sure you want to anymore.
Yeah, maybe I'll just swap my camera for bandits, and I can just take a break here. But of course, no, Justing, please, could you break down what we're gonna see in the draft for Cursed Hollow?
Yep, we see the Sylvanas first pick, the immediate target bans on Nakir with the Maiev and the Zeratul being banned away from their first picks. It's a little strange to see that, considering that they didn't care about it on Shire, even though I would argue that that is a better map for both of these heroes. We have pretty standard Lucio and Junkrat being banned by 30k, not giving over either of those seems smart. And again, Madara with a ton of Chromie priority. They've been Chromie picking machines this game, or this whole series. Both their wins so far having the Chromie in it. It's definitely something that Madara is kind of bringing back, and it's nice to see that. It's the little bit of Madara flair with the Chromie early on.
Alrighty, well, we get through a ban phase here, and of course, Grubby, I want to pick your brain as to what we've got so far, because there's a lot of really cool and strong heroes for both sides.
Well, I'm trying to think, like, how do you counter Chromie? But, like, she doesn't really have a counter. It's more like she counters herself if her aim is bad. Because even if you try to, like, hard engage her, Judgment, Hunt, Leap, whatever, she has timeout, she has slowing sound, she has time trap. It's not easy to take her down. So mostly you just gotta have a strong macro plan. It's really up to the Chromie to be an asset or not. So just have a good draft, and I think WildHeart is developing nicely. They still need their tank. Diablo is banned once again. We have Muradin availability, Stitches, and Uberak. I think Muradin would kind of make sense here, just kind of a vanilla pick, but what's the last one going to be for Ivy Tinks? Dykes is available, he's been leaning pretty heavily into that. Not ideal into Johanna. They're going to go for a little bit more of an aggressive pick with Hanzo, who can help to engage. The Hanzo arrow is going to be the key here. The key formula in order to win team fights.
I like the idea here, Justing, of Cure going Thrall again, personally. Hogger can control a lane, Thrall can control his own lane, and the rest of the team can be like mid, and then you can split one off and grab a camp or whatever. I love the idea of a Thrall here, but of course, what are your thoughts on the drafts as we are going to get our last pick from the side of 30k?
Yeah, I was thinking about it as well. It feels almost exactly the same as the draft that we saw earlier on Eltric. We don't see it, though. We do see the Genji come out. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah,
because,
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, like, I agree with you 100% with the picking something like Thrall to have the ability to kill tanks. Even an Imperious would have been good there. I'm not sure about the Genji. You'd think that their composition really needs some kind of tank killing against the Blaze and the Muradin. You have a Chromie, which wants to really play within kind of her field, within her zone. You kind of want to set up with the Chromie. You heard that even in the comms from WildHeart, like, oh, we don't want to fight here if Chromie can set up. Because that's kind of how she works. She's almost like a Probius, where she gets in her space and she sort of just protects her space. She's not really someone who you're going to be diving with. So it's a little bit weird to see. It's almost a combination of two different types of drafts, two different styles of draft. So if Cure is able to get the light bombs, or, I mean, Hogger and Johanna can also get the light bombs, but if they can dive into the backline and get a one-shot onto either Rhaegar, Sylvanas, or Hanzo, then the fight's pretty much just over for them. But you can't go temp loop into Blaze with Bunker or into Rhaegar with Cleanse. You're going to be having to deal with a Chromie that can't really keep up with the dive while everyone else can, with the exception of Anduin. It does feel a little bit strange. If Haben on Muradin and Zergling on Blaze are going to be able to just be aggressive and be bullies in this game, I don't think there's a lot of response on the side of 30k. So the execution for 30k, a lot harder now because they can't kill tanks. They're going to be looking to play super aggressive and dive in. Not sure if Madara will be able to keep up, but it's on the back line of WildHeart to survive and on the front line of 30k to dive deep.
Well, let's go ahead and introduce our teams here. As we've got WildHeart in the blue, Mason Blaze on the Sylvanas, Haybin on the Muradin, Weird Day on the Rhaegar, IBTings on the Hanzo, and Zergling to play the Blaze. In the red, we got 30k looking to close things out in a 3-1. We've got Cattle on the Joanna, Legacy on the Anduin, Mater on the Chromie, Liam on the Hogger, and Kira to play the Genji. I'm honestly thinking that 30k can take this. I know it's a bit of an interesting draft. I know I kind of was like, you know, I was visually kind of like unsure about 30k's last pick with the Genji, but I feel like they can actually get into that backline. I think they can really kind of pressure onto Rhaegar, Hanzo, maybe a little bit of Sylvanas as well. But let's see what happens here. And of course, Grubby, any thoughts on the drafts as we are here mid lane hanging out?
Yeah, I think WildHeart has a really strong setup. I like their draft quite a bit more. I think with Genji and Hager, you have just ever so slightly less control than what a Blaze offers. And you're a little bit susceptible to hard engage. So yeah, that's what I'm afraid of here for 30k. So I think we might be blessed with the game 5. Remains to be seen. Let's see how the early game goes. Madara did a reveal from that level 1. And he saw that there was 3 mid, someone took vision, so they knew how Sylvanas wasn't going to be doing a side chase, which is why you saw no concerted effort by 30k to try and defend against that, in case you all were wondering at home.
We actually have a quick rotation to camps from both sides. We will have WildHeart on the left-hand side grabbing the Bruiser camp. We actually saw, just as we were panning over here, Chromie's vision, or Time Walker's Pursuit, did actually scout that. It was a little funny thing. The in-game chat was turned off, but Mater at the start of the game used Time Walker's Pursuit and then says, "Where are you guys?" Because he was using Time Walker's Pursuit to kind of predict where the Sylvanas composition might be lining up. If they're in bottom, maybe there was a potential cheese, because bottom lane is where the boss would be, WildHeart's side, and that might be advantageous for this blue team to go for that, because a little extra siege on that bottom lane would amplify boss siege later on. But we won't be seeing bosses for another 3 minutes as the bosses spawn at the 5-minute mark in game. But before that, in the next about 45 seconds, we will be seeing the first objective going into bottom lane. We should see WildHeart back off at some point, grab their Siege Giant camp, because that, on a macro sense, is where you want to have a camp pressuring during this first objective. But no rotation to even the Siege Giants from WildHeart just yet.
Yep, they want to delay it, to synchronize it with the bottom tribute spawn. And then they even have a strong choice to have Sylvanas push alongside of it, while just using Blaze, Oil, and Slick to slow down the bottom tribute. Or they can make a concerted effort for the bottom tribute and allow the siege camp to be the distraction or side value. You can see the deliberate delay here. They've already captured it, they're yet delaying it. They probably want to hit about the 240 mark, taking it just 4 seconds before that mark. But Sylvanas is showing top, so it's a little obvious that this could happen. They're going to use Chromie, Madara, to be the goalkeeper up top. Everyone else is going bot, so even if Sylv and Siege try to push up top, which is the setup, Chromie can have that reach to trade well into that. So that's why, part of the reason why she's so good.
I'm just taking a peek at the mini-map to see the rotation into bottom lane. We do have Anduin in the kind of, is sitting in the bush anchoring for the team, or at least providing vision for the team. Cattle floating around as well. Double shield glare was picked up at level 1 with that Zealous glare, and we have one already. There's the Iron Skin, a second shield glare to delay out Haybin. There's a jet propulsion from Zergling connecting as Legacy throws out the Chastise. Haybin will be delayed out by Kira's Genji, who gets the Swift Strike away. Should have the agility over the wall. There is going to be a Mason Blaze in mid lane, starting to chunk, and that is spray and death for first blood to the side of WildHeart Esports.
I'm gonna be real with you. Cure has pretty much had 1 int per game in the last 3 games, and I only dare to say that because it is so obvious how much respect I have for him. He's such a good player, but he's had a few moments, and I think it kind of makes sense. Playing on some heroes that he hasn't really played CCL much with yet. He's playing different roles, both melee and ranged, going on to these heroes like Genji.
I feel like,
and yeah.
I feel like 30k is in the same spot as Oxygen on map number 1. It kind of feels like 30k really can't take a fight until level 10 hits here, because the Light Bomb combo, or Hortapult, or Shockwave, or Bless Shield, or even Chromie with, well, she's got Slowing Sands as she's at level 8, but it feels like 30k at 10 can actually do something. Until then, it's kind of surviving up against the enemy, because there's already so much control from WildHeart between big bursts from Hanzo, lockdown from Haybin, slows from Weary Day, as well as just burst ability and sustained damage from Mason Blaze on the Sylvanas.
Yeah, I agree with that. Level 10 is going to be where 30k can actually come online. For the rest, it's pretty much what is being given to you, or just straight up being able to do damage. Sadly for Legacy there, the... what's it called? The Chastise does miss. Where they did go for a Purge. Nice dodges there on the Dragon Breath. That Chastise did hit on Muradin. Muradin stepping forward like a madman.
He's got those dwarf block stacks. So I think Haven was kind of banking on those to keep him alive, or even just the healing from Weary Day. We do have that Chastise with the Piercing Light at level 4, which is going to be great for Anduin to maybe lock down more than one target. As another objective will be here on the top right of our map. This will be favoring 30k's positioning. That 10 talent here does favor the side of WildHeart, who are looking for a boss through the bottom lane. And as we take stock of the level 10s, nothing out of the ordinary. Bunker, Arrow, Ancestral, Avatar, and Sylvanas is holding. We'll see what she goes into. It's going to be the Wailing Arrow.
Madara cheekily stepping forward, actually helping to clear the boss. Sadly, it gives no XP to last hit it, unlike in some games. It's just whoever captures it. And yeah, he knew that he would be revealed. He saw the Sonic Arrow. Didn't want to go to do any cheeky caps. And 30k knew they couldn't get there on time for the boss. Oftentimes on this map, bosses are traded out. In this case, 30k did not have the setup to take their boss simultaneously. So WildHeart may be able to squeeze a second tribute here, puts them in a really good spot.
Here was showing in bottom lane, clearing things out. I think that might have been Cattle in the top on Joanna showing as well. Genji really not the best to clear with the assistance of the fort. It will go down before the fort should fall, especially with those shurikens and the extra damage that Kira is trying to throw in. Siege Giant's trying to assist as we have a camp over on the right being grabbed. Haben floating around over there, maybe looking to apply some pressure with some storm bolts here and there, but does not step any further forward. And here comes another tribute. This could be curse potential to the side of WildHeart Esports. Do we jump into some 30k comms here? Alrighty, into 30k we go. Perfect. Into 30k.
They're 5 manning it. They're 5
We're out
manning it.
trapped maybe soon.
Yeah, I'm looking
I
at the
think
clock
this is a
right
good
now.
fight for us, maybe.
We leashed it. We leashed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've kept it. I can stall the trib, maybe.
So just
Well,
come.
you guys-
Let's just
one
fight them,
lane.
man.
You want to just hard commit to it? Okay.
Yeah, I think we just fight this.
I'm still hitting boss.
Their DPS are kind of... Or they're both...
it goes back to full.
Just
Yeah, I
commit.
think we just have to
commit.
kill him. Yeah, just do it. Just do it.
Hanzo's
Watch the
far.
arrow, watch the
I'll
arrow,
try to
watch
block
the
it, I'll
arrow.
try to block it with D.
You ready for a light bomb?
Spitting in now.
Yeah.
Light bomb me now. Light bomb me
Watch
now.
this Muradin.
Oh, self trap.
Trap the light bomb.
We got him.
We got her.
10
He's up in
seconds
the back.
ancestral.
Needs it. Back his help.
He has
Haven. Kill him fast. Kill fast.
Boss is
We're
alive.
fine. We're fine. I got him. I got him.
Nice. Let's do boss.
The boss.
Need help out of this. Need help out of this.
I'm coming.
Should be fine.
I'm going curse. Can I get some
Okay.
homies?
Yeah.
Homies are on the way.
Ancestral
I think you
still up.
just go cattle. Just go cattle. All clear.
Yo, they don't know I'm here. We can maybe kill them.
I'm
sorry.
doing that.
They're slowing our rotate.
Just stall.
Yeah, I'm
gonna
chilling, I'm
You have time
chilling.
to stall. You have time
I'm
to
full
stall.
HP. I can stall. I can stall.
I'm running there now.
Oh, he got you jump. Maybe
Wait,
Ivy?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Now.
I don't know if we can play for this, but maybe.
Okay, that's a jump.
Yeah, we can. I think.
Yeah, I
They're
think
up now though. They're up now though.
We could give. Our waves are good, actually.
Sure.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's
Alright.
not a bad give. I'm
Okay.
still all our forts.
They backed off. They're
Wait, they're saying the same thing? No,
About to be
they're just gonna stop like forever.
Bottom.
Yeah, bottom and wave
Yeah,
prowess
I'm running
everywhere.
bottom. I'm running
Less
bottom.
than 5.
I'm showing mid.
Heed.
I can't go that far, but maybe.
I kind of want to leave. They're gonna run us down.
We have 13s.
Yeah,
Fingers
we
good.
almost
Looking
got
like a
before.
give in.
Bottom's
So-
dead, so we do mid.
Fort's gone. Just save the rest if you can.
Yeah. Save mid and top if we can.
Are we getting
Maybe-
top for it?
It's gonna be very big.
That's
Um,
I
Can
can
I
take
go
over. You want to?
yeah, you go top. You go
Okay,
top.
I'll
You
go
go top.
top.
I was gonna see if I backed
I
up.
mean, mid fort, it's gonna be very scary. They're gonna be 5 manning with the camp.
hard to fight through there.
You guys might have to
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah. We need to break the sidewalls too if we're gonna dive this.
And make sure you
There's a pull. I can't really arrow yet.
Genji.
Okay, that's pull. That's all. Pull. I can look for an arrow from bot side maybe. We're gonna get bot for it for free.
I'll roll to 1.
I think just push mid. It's easier.
We can keep going. We keep going. We keep going.
Keep going.
Like, we have camp. We have camp.
No. Fight.
Back.
Okay.
No hogger. No hogger.
Yep.
We can go.
We just burst the camp and then take the wall. A vision over.
8 seconds
Still no auger.
Hogger's still
auger.
top.
We're gonna be down soak, but just blood.
Okay,
Don't know D. No.
Too hard.
Yeah, let's back
Alright,
up.
leave.
Do it. Let's get camp out. I'm gonna push up
They're
mid
really
first.
salty.
They're ahead on XP. They're gonna hit 16 first.
Yeah, we didn't soak enough during that.
Top.
And as we leave both comms, we had a nice moment right there. I thought it was a perfect time to swap between the comms. We got to hear 30K's aggression, and then hey, we got the Curse from WildHeart. Let's see how they siege him with that. Different energy levels, massively different energy levels when we jump between comms.
Yeah, I mean, I found the information flow to be super interesting for both teams, really.
Yeah.
Absolutely sick boss fight. So if a boss triple leashes back to point, it insta full health instead of a slow regeneration. They kept it there on the precipice, 30k, while also engaging. That was so sick. They got a couple of kills, got the boss, got much out of it. Then they could have gone for the tribute, and they decided to give Curse in order to reset tribute points from 2 back to 0, feeling they could absorb it since the lanes were healthy enough. And although they did lose 2 forts, they maintained experience advantage. You know what? I thought it was a mistake when they lost double fort. Now I feel like it was correct. Because they're going to be able to utilize and leverage level 16. Almost. Actually, that's a big almost. Because the boss is not yet capped.
X strike onto the point, does give it back over the side of WildHeart. There's going to be a shockwave from Liam, but at that, oh my god, dear lord.
Oh my god.
Double kill to the side of 30k. That will be Liam going down, but Zergling should fall here as well. And now, what is the call from 30k? They just took down 3 enemy members. Hogger is out for 30 seconds, but he's not their main source of siege, and there's already a wave through mid. Great call from 30k. Get the fort down, maybe back off and clear boss afterwards. Tribute coming up, neither team having really any channels just yet. 0-0, as you had mentioned, the reset on the Curse.
Kind of a mixed bag here for both teams. Like 30k prioritized not taking and capturing the boss when Cure X striked. That kind of gave away the chance of the boss. Actually, let's look at it again.
Please.
Okay, so here you have level 16 just away, so they're forced to make a play earlier. Light Bomb goes in. If he stays on the point, he'll be a target. Instead, he X strikes. This gives the boss away, but look at Hogger. Hogger goes in for the kill, but dies for it as well. So now you just have 30k completely prioritizing getting the kills. Murden actually a little bit too healthy, but Zergling was left there as he did need to be there in order to capture the boss. The boss ends up actually doing less damage on the keep than I thought as we get back into this. 1 tribute now goes to 30k, and the next boss is available in 8 seconds.
Yeah, top rate boss. I was just checking that timer as well, and you can even see that Zergling on the Blazes already has the intuition to kind of float over there to see where is the enemy. Are they going for boss? Cattle is showing, and we'll see. Is he selling the idea that his team's here? Not really, because Cattle's starting to back away. So it's one of those things that, like, okay, yeah, there's a Siege Giants being grabbed in bottom. Haven's going to be able to scout this out. Shield Glare reveals 2 Mason Blaze and Ivy Tings. There's going to be Cure coming in as well with the agility over the wall. Earth Grasp Totem will slow down Cure. He swifts. That's a very weird Swift Strike. Big arrow from Hanzo connecting. Leap of Fate to save the day. There's going to be a Wailing Arrow from Sylvanas as well. I don't think it found much value. Chastise coming out. Will connect onto 1. There's going to be a X Strike with the Light Bomb onto 2. Rhaegar goes down. No Ancestor healing from him for 94 seconds as the bunker from Blaze will come through. Shockwave from Liam is actually going to be put on a 10-second cooldown because Blaze had the jet propulsion interrupted. If I do believe that I saw that correctly. Cure trying to back away, but the beautiful bounce from Liam and the shockwave coming through. It's a quadra kill to 30k.
My, the epic Cure bait, pretending to miss his Swift Strike, going through an extremely long piece of terrain, Swift Striking into the wall, only for him to be Leap of Faith, I believe twice, by Legacy. That made WildHeart switch up things and pulled the trigger on the Dragon Arrow. He got all in by the Dragon Arrow, but that's exactly the fight that 30k wanted, and they turn it on its heels and get the quad kill. Epic bait by Cure.
Beautiful. Honestly, Cure, I wasn't sure about Cure's Genji, just because I haven't seen it. I don't know. His ranged assassins have looked not the strongest, and we know, yes, Cure, he's a great talented player, but of course what we see is what we cast and what we have to break down, and some of these games, like that Sylvanas game, wasn't looking too I wasn't too sold on it on Dragon Shire, but here the way Cure is playing, this feels like his Genji with his Zeratul. It feels the maneuverability, the overall mechanical prowess is all there, as the boss will be grabbed before Haven can step up.
Really cool Light Bomb placed there into X Strike. It's really working out for 30k here. your draft. Oh, there goes the arrow, and the arrow goes all the way to the North Pole. Doesn't get the hit, and that was pretty much the last chance for WildHeart to fight over this curse.
Poor Santa Claus is going to get a CC something crazy soon as we have the boss going up through top lane. Hogger is in position to get the channel, but Zergling should be able to delay out. On the bottom right of our screen, Joanna and Haben are just running into this engagement. Haben does land the Stormbolt. Dwarf launches away as the 20 talent tier is here. We do have the level 20 for Hogger being held. I'm just looking to see what it is, if maybe he just no controls right on top of Blaze. That is a lot of available damage if he does decide to do that. And yes, there's a Light Bomb. There's the Swift Strike in. I don't know if Genji connected. Actually, it might have been Will the Forsaken from the Mason Blaze to mitigate that one, but still, top lane keep goes down. Bottom lane has Siege Giants here, and 30k look to run for the curse.
So the curse was intentionally delayed by 30k, I think, and that's actually going to give them a good window to take bottom boss. Mid lane is pushed up. This is very fortunate for WildHeart, as they have catapult all the way mid. They've cleared all the minion waves. Look at the curse duration, 1 minute. A minion wave spawns every 20 seconds, and there's generally about 2 to 3 minion waves. That means that 30k's minion waves will not even threaten mid keep. So while this is a boss attempt with the curse covering them during this, it is not via real pressure. Top keep is already gone, mid keep won't be threatened. So this curse feels a little weak, despite it being a curse into boss. After all, by the time this boss gets to the keep, curse will be gone. It does feel a little weak, doesn't it?
I wonder if it's like, okay, let's get the mentality for 30k is we'll grab boss. Yes, it's during curse, which is big taboo. Like, now is when you're typically going for it the last 20 seconds, but we have this window after we grab boss to get initial siege and maybe pressure the enemy team underneath their keeps, because that's what's going on right now. Leap of Faith comes through. The arrow from Hanzo not connecting. Blaze is a little far forward. Decent damage coming out from Madara as we have Mason Blaze throwing out the Haunting Wave. Boss is now here, which will be perfectly... I actually love the way that 30k played this. I think this was insanely well timed out on a macro sense from 30k to be able to time out the curse and the boss with the value of the keep going down. Drip Propulsion, Leap of Faith. That was the second Leap of Faith onto Cure as the Chastise goes out from Anduin, heals out from this Hogger. There's the no control from Hogger as it was the Rhaegar with the heals, but that doesn't matter because the X strike, the Swift strikes. IB Tings is low, 69 HP, is gonna be able to back away on IB Tings as we also have the Mason Blaze healing back up. That is a very low Genji to fall. The core is starting to lose its shielding and HP. Can 30k end this map? It seems doable. The GGs come out, and ladies and gentlemen, 30k shuts down WildHeart on map number 4, Cursed Hollow.
Chromie was down to 5 HP in that final moment.
Really?
Just 5 HP.
The lowest I saw was I think it was IB Tings got away with 69 HP was what I saw, and I was like, oh, I can't miss that stat. But speaking of stats, I mean, Justin, you've been watching, and this was a great Cursed Hollow map. This was really fun, good energy, great back and forth from both sides.
Yeah, this was a really cool game to close out the series, especially for 30k and Cure on Genji. I had questioned in the draft whether that was a good play because it kind of limited the way that they play the game. It sort of forced them to play super aggressively and have a very obvious win condition of diving into the backline with the Genji with the Light Bomb, but that doesn't matter if you execute it perfectly, which 30k did. So shout out to the Cure. He's definitely the MVP for this game. He had a lot of pop-off moments. It was good to see the synergy too between Cure and Legacy. It's not only a Cure getting the Light Bomb when you need it is just as important almost as the dash in itself. So the synergy there, very good. Cure popping off on the Genji. I never doubted. Never doubt Cure with the Genji, I guess, because this moment was super scary at first, but you have just an immediate deletion onto the Sylvanas, onto Mason Blaze by Cure with the Light Bomb. The way that they fought over this was really nice. Haben ends up going down to Cure as well on the back end of it. These fights feel like they should not be winnable for 30k if the teams kind of have an even engage, but the engage was just always 30k. It sort of felt as if WildHeart was just waiting to get engaged on in a lot of these fights, and here we have another engage where they give the boss, but they play for the fight. Zergling, I'll be a little critical of the bunker. It was very late. I think as soon as you see anything starting to come out, you just put the bunker down so that your team has some safety. He doesn't, and they really pay for it quite heavily here. This was a weird moment where they traded the boss, but they got the 3 kills, so 30k gets some map pressure on mid, and then has to go clear the boss. This was the great bait. This was the huge 4-for-1 or 4-for-0 from 30k, where you have this bait. This game was just a ton of crazy team fights back and forth, mostly just Cure. I'm just watching Cure in pretty much every fight because he was pretty much the playmaker in all of these fights. And it's scary to be WildHeart's backline here. You have 3 super squishy backliners in Rhaegar, the Hanzo, and the Sylvanas, all just kind of being scared of Cure all the time, it felt like. And Madara being able to keep up on Chromie is super impressive. The rest of the team playing alongside it really well. It was really back and forth. One thing I want to highlight for WildHeart was when they were pushing in top, Zergling stalling the objective there. It didn't seem like a huge deal, and we didn't talk about it much on the broadcast, but it created that 4v4 in the base with the level 20 with the cursed boss pushing in top. That is what gave WildHeart that chance for that last fight in bottom. They would not have even had that chance to fight bottom if Zergling didn't make the decision, which is a tough decision to make, to just stall that objective top. You guys were talking about how the curse timing was a little bit weird. It was a little bit weird because Zergling was there 1v1ing the Hogger the whole time with the Blaze, and that's kind of what kept them in and gave them that extra fight chance. But 30k still winning that last fight and looking very dominant. 30k is well deserving of their kind of being called that all-star roster. We're seeing why today in their series against WildHeart.
Man, this is, I'm trying to do the math really quickly. So 30k is going to have a 9-2 record, which puts them just above Diamond Hands. We'll look at the league standings in a little bit. We're getting ready for an interview with one of the players. Just if anyone was wondering what this all means for 30k, immediately it's 30k jumps into first spot. WildHeart, I think they still stay in third if my math is probably incorrect. I think it's actually...
Probably.
Actually, no, I think they're still in third because level 7-2 record, which is better than Oxygen. So I think, yeah, but we'll look at all of that in a little bit here. We are going to get into an interview just very shortly. I'm excited to ask a few questions because we will be getting Liam here. But of course, Grubby, any takeaways from that Curse Hollow map, because there's so much that happened.
Yeah, I really thought that WildHeart had the better draft there. And I think too many arrows missed, perhaps.
I agree.
Too many arrows missed.
Two significant ones did miss, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, maybe about 3 or so.
Okay.
And part of it is just Legacy super on point with those pulls. He goes for the double pull build, and he doesn't use it at the wrong time when Deflect is still available, when X-Strike is still available. He pulls it at exactly the right time. And you can only say, oh, well, we have Leap Down at least so many times as WildHeart. Sometimes it's just crucial to get that connection. And just didn't get enough engages. Because against Chromie and Johanna, that's a very good defensive team. We knew that. We mentioned it. And it needed to be big arrows. And it's not just Hanzo's fault or anything like that. I'm just saying it needed to happen. It didn't. And it made engaging a little bit harder, which is why Justin said it felt like WildHeart was just kind of waiting to be engaged upon sometimes.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I could definitely see that, and yeah, just it's there. I'm sure there was quite a few of those arrows, which is unfortunate. So, well, we'll have to see how things do shake up in the future for some of these teams. But of course, it was a really, really good series, and we're just, as I said, we're just getting set up for the player interview here in just a second. So overall, I gotta say, like, I'm a little sad it didn't go to a map number 5, but that's also me just wanting as much Heroes of the Storm possible for these weekends of games. But of course, as I mentioned multiple times, we got that interview ready to go, so let's go ahead and bring on in Liam from 30k. Congratulations on your victory. How you feeling?
Thank you. I'm feeling pretty good that we were able to pull out the win, even with all the DCs.
It was very nice of WildHeart to share their pause time with you. I do want to ask,
really
how do you get those amazing bounces with Hogger? Is this practice? Is this intuition? Because you had some beautiful bounces on that last map.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is definitely practice. To be honest, though, a lot of it is also like RNG. You kind of just pray that, the RNG gods are in your favor. But yeah, a lot of it's definitely practice. For me, Hogger is like a hero that took me a long time to get good at. Took me like a lot of games, probably the most games of any offlaner. So Hogger is definitely a very high skill hero, but a lot of it is RNG based, to be honest. Just hoping that you get the good spins.
You make it look like you plan it out every single time, and you've just got your protractor out every single time, lining up the angles. But of course, Justin, any questions for Liam?
Yeah, I was actually wondering about Hogger. We'd noticed that in previous weeks there was a lot of Hogger and Blaze priority between those two as being kind of the best, it seemed, in the draft. And then today it felt a little bit more like a lot more Dahaka priority and a lot less Hogger priority, with the exception of you guys picking some Hogger. Is there any reason for that, where there's a lot more priority onto Dahaka now than we saw in the previous weeks instead of Hogger?
I think people kind of just forgot that Dahaka is still extremely broken. He got like nerfed once. I think they nerfed his E CDR or something like that, but it's still extremely powerful. Also, the global aspect is clearly very strong. I think Dahaka is just still extremely strong. Like you saw last season, his prio was extremely high. I think people are just catching on that like he's still very good. It just takes a lot of practice to stay good at him. And I think a lot of people were rusty at the beginning of the season. So like Blaze and Hogger are much easier to sort of like get decent value from, whereas Dahaka, you have to actually be really good at him in order to get like those drags and whatnot. So I'm glad to see people are picking more Dahaka. I think he's been underrated at the beginning of the season for sure.
I absolutely agree. Grubby, any questions for Liam?
Hey Liam, I wanted to ask something a little different. I wanted to ask for you, what role does HoTS play for you in your life? Is it more like relaxation, adrenaline weekends, or something else?
It's definitely like just sort of fills that competitive desire for me. So I used to play like soccer kind of my whole life. Sadly ended up quitting because, you know, once you get like past a certain age, there's not really too many leagues out there. So I sort of started playing video games and started playing CCL competitively, and you know that's when, you know, it just sort of fills the competitive desire for me. So that's what I've you know sort of filled now in my life. So it's been a lot of fun.
That's great to hear. Thank you.
Very awesome, Liam. Now, I want to ask you not next weekend, in 2 weeks, because we do have the weekend off for Memorial Day weekend here in the United States. On June 5th, you're going to be going up against Oxygen Esports. Any concerns, excitement, any levels of like, or like, do you think you can beat them easily? Where are you kind of at with your upcoming matchup in 2 weeks up against Oxygen?
I think it's going to be a really good series. Obviously, Yasu, Hasu, and Benny, all ex-teammates of mine. So
right,
it's going to be it's kind of like a little rivalry maybe. So I think it's going to be a really good series. I'm hoping that we can both make it to the LAN, because it'd be nice to meet them and whatnot. But yeah, I think the series is going to be extremely close. I think they're all very good players. It's always nice to see like how the NA meta versus the EU meta clashes. So you know, maybe some hammer bans and whatnot versus them. So we'll see. Yeah, I think they're a very good team.
Well, thank you very much for joining us for this interview. Thank you for answering a few of our questions. Before you skedaddle out of here and get into your celebrations and your scrims for the upcoming 2 weeks, any shoutouts that you'd like to give, the floor is all yours.
Just you know, the classic shoutouts. Shout out to you guys for, you know, putting this all on. Shoutouts to 30K. Shoutouts to my team for carrying me, even though I was DCing out of my mind. But shoutouts to my family, my friends, and just everybody at 30K, really. You know, Michael Udall, Slexia, Bat for scheduling scrims. That's pretty much it.
Well, thank you, Liam, for joining us. As I mentioned, good luck in your scrims in the upcoming 2 weeks, and we'll see you on June 5th up against Oxygen Esports. Good luck and have fun.
Thank you.
Alrighty, well, with that, we have a bunch of games that are done this weekend. We have some updated standings, but those standings are not just ready for all of you at home, because everyone, are you ready? Grubby, are you ready? Are you physically ready? Have you prepared yourself?
I am ready for anything, but I don't know what I should be ready for now.
That's what I like. Just yes and anything I say, because we're going to get into everyone's favorite segment of the day. This is going to be Justing's big old power play of the day, presented by Wisdom.
This is the Cure Power Play of the Year, presented by Li Ming. And we can get into that clip right away. This is the pop-off moment on BOE. This is where we had two different dynamics, where WildHeart's composition wins front to backs, and 30K's composition can win these split fights. This fight's going to be a little bit split, and off the bat, you've got two kind of separate fights happening. You have the fight on the left side against Weryday, and the fight on the right side against Liam. Liam does get taken down, while Weryday does survive, and they're now in a 5v4 for WildHeart, so it looks good for them, and they're pushing up, but watch 30K wait for their moment for the turn. The jet propulsion misses onto Cattle, he gets really low, you have the stun onto Zergling, 1 reset, 2 resets as they dive in, and this is where Cure starts to have a ton of fun. He's going forward onto Mason Blaze, he gets the blink forward, the magic missiles miss, but he gets the blink, Another one, and IBTings thinks, oh, this is a squishy Cure. Cure can't play ranged. And then Cure says, surprise, and blinks on him too. Big pop-off moment for Cure, the 4-for-1. Cure just absolutely a monster in this series.
Cure was a big performer for the side of 30K. Overall, I was really impressed from both games today. I think Oxygen did great. I think Granite actually had some of their best showing we've seen thus far in HeroesCCL Season 4, and WildHeart looked really good, but of course, Grubby, I have alluded to this, I have been kind of trying to do my own caster math, but can you tell everyone at home what these standings look like? Because we're at the end of Week 3, and we've got some updated standings.
We knew there was going to be 2-3-0 teams here, and it's Diamond Hands and 30K, more like 30K, am I right? WildHeart and Oxygen are at 2-1, as is Chili Mountain, and Granite Gaming drops to 0-3 as well. Very clear separation for the bottom 3 teams right now, even though I still feel like Storm and Granite are packing a punch. We have a solid mid-tier group here for WildHeart, Oxygen, and Chili that will be vying for that top 3 spot. If you're 3 ranked or better, you will guarantee yourself to the LAN finals at the Mall of America on August 5th to 7th, which is open to visitors. Anyone that wants to visit that, August 5th to 7th, and the top 3 teams are guaranteed to go there. But any team on this list has a chance to make it. We have a knockout gauntlet ladder phase where the rank 8 team will eventually play the rank 7 team. Winner advances. 7 plays 6. Winner advances. The winner of that plays 5. Winner advances, and so on until they play the rank 4 for the final chance to make it to LAN. A really cool system. It means that every match matters now to determine your ranking, but the playoffs still matters for everyone as well. A very involved system.
A very great system, and we can actually look forward to our week number 4. Now, I've mentioned this a couple times throughout the broadcast, and before Justin breaks down the matches, you'll see it on June 4th. There is a weekend off for HeroesCCL. CCL will be off on the weekend of May 28th and 29th. That is the Memorial Day weekend for the United States, so we're going to be taking that weekend off to celebrate the holiday, relax, and recharge a little bit. But of course, on Saturday, June 4th, and on Sunday, June 5th, Justin, who are we going to be seeing on these matchups?
In our first match, we had Granite Gaming going up against the
Storm?
Storm. Granite Gaming and Storm. One of those teams will find a win.
There
it is. It's back. We got Granite Gaming going up against Storm. One of those teams will find their first win, as they're both 0-3 in the standings right now. And then Diamond Hands going up against WildHeart, where one of those teams will either be 4-0 if Diamond Hands wins, and they'll send WildHeart back to the middle of the pack, or WildHeart will be tied with Diamond Hands in the standings with a 3-1 record. So both of these matches really important on Saturday for the standings. And then we've also got the next day's matches as well, which, like Baha mentioned, we do have that week off for the holidays. We've got Chili Mountain going against Simplicity in our first match of Sunday, which it'll be interesting to see if Simplicity can make any crazy changes. They have 2 weeks of downtime, and we're really expecting them to make the most changes out of any of the teams, most likely. And 30K against Oxygen. This is a titan of a matchup. Both of these teams have looked extremely strong, and both of these teams really need this match if they want to get into that guaranteed top 3 spot.
So I'm just confirming something really, really quickly right here, and I think we might have actually just had a little bit of a mislabel, but yeah, just want to point out really quickly, actually 30K is actually number 1 right now. Diamond Hands number 2. 30K is a 9-2 record, 9 wins, 2 losses. Diamond Hands 9-3 record. Still, narrow margins in our top 3 right now between all these teams. Exciting stuff, and it's going to be exciting, as Grubby had mentioned. You top 3, you make it to LAN, you go to the Mall of America, you don't have to go through that creature gauntlet and be that 4th place gatekeeper, but that is for the future. Time to tell. We are here at the end of our week number 3, and of course, as I like to always do, I like to kind of, well, ask both of you your thoughts on the weekend, the matches, whatever you want to talk about at the end of week number 3 here. Any takeaways, Justin?
Granite Gaming is looking a lot better, even though they didn't win today. They did get their 1 win with the crazy core call, so I'm excited to see them kind of scale up. Simplicity has made their roster changes with the swap over with the roles, with Porky swapping his role, which is interesting as well. There's just a lot of kind of changes being made by the lower placing teams, which you like to see with the roster changes for both of them, or the roster swap. And then for the top teams, we kind of got a little bit more insight into that dynamic between 30K and WildHeart, because like Hasu said in in the interview that it's going to matter a lot for kind of setting the pace, for setting the tone. So 30K looking super strong and just a monster of a team going forward. It's cool to see that sort of NA super team living up to the hype so far.
All right, I agree. I think we got a lot of hype around these teams. Grubby, any takeaways from the weekend, day, or matches?
Yeah, I think when looking at the draft meta, Granite Gaming still feels the most special. They willingly picked heroes like ETC and Chen. And there was a lot of Lunara. There was Li Ming that hasn't seen a lot of success, especially outside of Battlefield of Eternity. At the Tyrael pick with Sanct that didn't really pan out together with the Lunara Chromie backline, mostly trying to save himself, which didn't always work. So different meta from Granite. If they are able to adopt the more standard meta, I think their mechanics and decision making are good enough to get the victory, as we saw in their first map victory, actually, of the CCL. The series we just watched was definitely living up to expectations. WildHeart here and WildHeart and 30K, definitely absolute juggernauts of teams. And I already checked as well, the next 2 play days, we're going to get all of our top teams against each other, with WildHeart and Diamond Hands meeting each other. Then the next week it's Diamond Hands and 30K. Absolutely sick. So we have a bit of a break next weekend. I will be streaming on this channel, but no CCL. It will be a tough wait. But then the weekend after that, we will all re-attack the CCL with renewed vigor.
Yeah, I get to do a painting next weekend. I get to celebrate Bandit's birthday and take a little time off and go down the Truckee River. So it's going to be a nice weekend break for everyone here in HeroesCCL, as well as all the players as well. But as Grubby just said, we are going to be off next weekend. We will be back on June 4th and 5th for HeroesCCL week number 4. From the Wisdom family, Justin, Grubby, and myself, we appreciate all the support you have brought to HeroesCCL, for watching the show, for donating towards the prize pool. We look forward to more weekends of games. All of those matches starting at 11 a.m. PDT, 2 o'clock EDT, and 20 CEST. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great little break, and we'll see you on the 4th and 5th. Until then, good luck and stay safe. We'll see you in the Nexus. Good night.